That's what I'm talking about. Welcome, everybody. Welcome all the Goglings, Gogorifics, Gog types, Gog peoples. Welcome all and sundry to our, not a soiree, to our small little event, small minor event. No big deal. Just the finale of the entire D with GOG Storm King's Thunder campaign. The finale happening tonight. That's what I'm talking about. I'm really looking forward to that, and we will get there in just a minute. Scene change will happen in just a second. Be patient. Scene change will be on its way. I know where it is right now. So we will be there in just a moment. But before we go any further, I do want to thank everyone for being here today, and I do want to let everyone know about what we're doing here. I am your host, Arvin Elleron. This is episode 278 of Pen and Pixels, the show that focuses on story and narrative in games, and today focuses on what I'm sure the chat and the adventurers hope will be the finish of Imrith, the ancient blue dragon, who's been the big bad behind this entire campaign. Before we get any further, though, just a couple of quick reminders. If you haven't already done so, please follow us here on GOG.com. Please make sure, if you haven't done so already, to check out the GOG.com subscription as well. Please subscribe to us here on GOG.com. In fact, I believe for some reason it's shown that I'm not subscribed, which I find very frustrating because I am indeed subscribed and I have been forever. I really wish they would just set it so that you could just have the Prime sub resub all the time, because it just doesn't do that, and that's really annoying. So let me just hold on just a second here. Let me just get over to here. Yeah, I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to go down to here, and yes, that's what I'm doing, just like I always do. Thank you, me. Congratulations to me for subscribing, like I've already been subscribed. There we go. But anyway, it is a great pleasure to have all of you folks with us. So yes, please subscribe to the channel, and please click on and check out our individual channels as well. Thank you, A Melted Igloo, for the subscription, so that you can consider supporting us here as well. And with that said, I am going to just quickly jump over to the camera because there we are. There's the fade in. Good to see you all. I hope everyone's doing well, because we have some things that we're going to be talking about here when I get over to the lovely players. Yeah, I guess I'll probably introduce them first. Oh my goodness, all the subscriptions. I see a lot of people are in the same boat. They're like sub. That is what we're looking here. Yeah, exactly right. 8-Bit. Yeah, that's exactly right. So 8-Bit, of course, who has played a role in this D&D campaign. Fleos, who was very prominently displayed over the weekend in ArvCon, also played a role in this, and as did Chrono Wolf. Way back in the day, people may remember Mega Pie Man PhD was part of this mix as well. So we've had a number of people that have popped in, but the core group of 4 players that you're about to see have been with us for considerable amount of time. Actually, I should say 3. Pyron, Darksaber, and Peripheral Mike. And then Shai came in a little bit later on, but has been there for a long period of time. So yes, please consider subbing to us, supporting us, checking out our individual channels as well. And that is going to lead us over to this crew. So I'm going to unmute myself so the folks know we're ready to go, and I apologize for interrupting them, as I may well have done.
4 years.
And I'm going to unmute them.
The chair did not have a name.
To reveal the crew.
It was the sword, yeah.
The sword, it was the sword. The chair did not have a name.
Sorry, I don't think I've remembered either.
Hey,
Arv!
I kept thinking about this chair, and then I'm like, that's right. The chair that got embedded in the sword in the jailhouse in, like, I think that was back in Tribor, right? Is the Terror of Tribor or something like that? And there was the ghost
back when we had
thing.
Justice.
Yeah, and it was back when we had Justice. That's a metaphor. Back when we had Justice. Oh man, it is great to see all of you. Yeah, exactly, Tuluian, quite right. But it's great to see everybody here. And I did want to go over to the crew here just before we went on, just to say that I wanted to thank them for being a part of the ArvCon experience. This was held on my channel, of course. GOG.com was prominently featured. GOG.com gave us a bunch of game codes, all of which were given away. You'll be happy to know. Literally, it's a good thing that I had all these extras, because I've got a total of 3 codes left. And I'm so glad that I used them all up. I'm like, I used them. They all went to use. It's like the whole, you put in a budget, you want to make sure you use all of the budget, because then they'll be like, well, why didn't you use it? So this was the case this year. So very grateful to GOG.com for that support. Very grateful to Kilgore Trout of GOG.com fame for the concert contribution. And of course, very grateful to the lovely people you see below me. Peripheral Mike should be joining us hopefully any moment. At least we're hoping so. But this crew was the top raising of money crew at ArvCon, which they had predicted. Well, 2 years ago, it was Espergenesis. Espergenesis put in a big run this year, but it was overtaken. So the new S-tier champion of top donating, raising money was the crew that you see below you, as they had predicted would be the case. And the real winner, as we said, all jokes aside, was the Damon Runyon Cancer Research Foundation. We raised $7,000, which was not only blowing past our goal of $2,500 and blowing past the record we had set last year of $4,000, but blew past twice our goal. We were almost up to 3 times the goal that we had set, which was wonderful. It was a very joy-filled weekend. It was a very tiring weekend for me, but a very joy-filled weekend for me. It means a lot to me personally, and I was so grateful to these lovely people and friends on the column that you see below me, and also to all the wonderful viewers who came over, and I know there were a lot of GOGCOM regulars who came over and donated and supported as well. So for those who were in that group, thank you so much. It was an honor to be a part of it, and an honor to have this wonderful crew with me. So thank you again in public to Pyron J, to Darksaber2K, to Mike when he shows up, and to Tasty Chai for being a part of it and for giving up some of their Saturday to make this happen. So it was lovely. It was great. And now we didn't quite finish the unfinished business that we have, which is there's still an ancient blue dragon to deal with, and we're going to have to deal with that. So I will come, as always, to the first person on the column, which is, of course, the wonderful Pyron Jade. Pyron, thank you again for all of the back and forth help with GOG. Thank you as well for giving up all this time and for being up at some ungodly hour so that you were going out to look at your garden when the light was just dawning over the hills and all that. How did you feel about things? How do you feel about things, I guess, going into what will definitely be the last session one way or the other of this campaign? And any thoughts about being S tier, the top tier? What are your feelings about all of this, Pyron?
I already knew that we were top tier, so that's fine. Don't need to lose
the
any
quiet
words on
confidence,
that.
yes.
Yeah, I have to admit, yeah, so for me, our last session ended at 3 a.m. and I couldn't sleep. I had drank so much tea and I couldn't sleep. And so I talked with Saber for a long time, and then I went outside in the garden, and it was light, and there was like there was mist over the grass, and our neighbor's male chicken was crowing. And it was so then I went to bed. It's like at some time after 5 a.m. But yes, it was still great. And yeah, well, last session, it's a bit weird because I've been doing this for so long. It's been kind of part of life, but it's not the last session with this group, and that's all I can hope for. Although, well, kind of, because Chai will be there, but Chai will also still be there for Talisman, so I can't really complain. My life is wonderful. And yeah, but still, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the campaign, to the new campaign, to new character, to new adventures, and I'm also looking forward to kicking Ancient Blue Dragon butt today. So.
With what character, by the way? Who are you playing for the last time in this game?
I'm playing Greta Goldenfire, Dwarven Cleric of Foltest. May his light shine on your way. For whom the fight looked very interesting so far, because the fight started. Urash jumped into a big hole. Hekaton jumped into the same big hole. Fight continued. Hekaton came running out a doorway. Urash came running out of the doorway. Hekaton went back into the doorway. Urash jumped into the hole again. It's like how the fight went from Greta's perspective.
No lies detected. Just up, down, up, down. Yeah.
Also, the dragon came out and then went, no, and ran back in again.
Yeah, exactly. There's just...
Cockerel! Male chicken is a cockerel. Now I remember.
Well, we all thought that the pause was because you didn't want to kind of give it the the name that it can have, which has other contexts in certain,
Well, I'm not sure where your mind went, but I just couldn't remember cockerel.
It's also rooster.
Yeah, well, right. But you paused like this. This is what you said. You're like, like blah, 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 blah. And then the male, male rooster. And a lot of us were thinking, I can imagine what we might call something that was keeping us awake, and it might have certain connotations. I'm just saying,
I'm not sure. This is keeping you awake at night. Where is this going? Anyway, and also we wanted to point out that Justice's chair didn't have a name. It was Justice with his sword Dan. Because we should get out all the correct information about this campaign.
Right, that's right. And speaking of which, by the way, if people are interested in finding out the beginning of it, I do want to again point people to the audio podcast being done by Fleos, which you can find over on Spotify. I believe that he's placed links before in the chat, but I know Echo has a link too, which hopefully will come up as well. And we have a command for it. We're still waiting for the Harpers to show up. Now, see, interesting you mentioned that, Wolf Soul. The Harpers did kind of show up actually. In the form of one Diego Maradona, who, despite Greta's dislike, Diego may not be with us anymore. Diego accepted the fate that was presented to him, the sacrifice, the loss of Diego Maradona. I like the idea that Greta felt a great disturbance in the Force and cared not at all. It was just like, oh yeah, well, that's too bad.
Greta Diego doesn't know. She hasn't seen Diego in this fight at all.
Right.
She doesn't know.
That's true. So she still thinks upstairs. The Harpers are just doing what they're doing. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she's upstairs, and from what I can tell, is Diego charged and got grilled. That is what I know as a person. Rita doesn't even know that.
Yes, quite right. Showed up, got roasted, will be remembered. Exactly, Lazy Observer, exactly.
Yes.
It is a great pleasure to have Pyron with us. Yes. It's also a great pleasure to have Darksaber 2K with us. As always, thank you again for putting together dashboard and all that kind of good stuff. Saber, I thought of you quite a bit this weekend, actually, because we did have the finale of the Palace of the Red Pasha campaign in my sort of long-running D&D with Infinity and Beyond group. And Rob over there was talking about, actually got very emotional about it, about how this was really basically his first D&D, at least that any kind of long D&D campaign, and that, this character meant a lot to him and all that kind of stuff. And I thought about you because, again, as you've pointed out many times, this was the first time you really played D&D, and you've been with it for a very long time, and so you've inhabited the character of Cel Sigmar for a very long time. And I guess I'm same question to you. First of all, thank you again for your generous, I know Pyron as well donated, thank you for your generous donation to this, to the cause of ArfCon. But beyond that, how do you feel about coming to the end of the road with this particular character, however it comes to an end? And if you want to weigh in on being S tier, you can do that too. But
Well, it's true. I think I brought this up on Saturday night as well. I said I think by that point I had a couple of ciders, so a bit of a hazy memory towards the end of that session. But honestly, there's a perfect quote that I'm going to steal from Doctor Who for this, which is, everything ends and it's always sad, but everything begins again too, and that's always happy. Be happy. And yes,
good one.
This is the last time that we will see Cel Sigmar. He'll be gone, but I'm sure not forgotten. I'm pretty sure he's left his mark on people. And hopefully he'll be referenced for a few years to come as we carry on with Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And I'm already looking forward to the next character. I've almost got it finalized, so I'm hoping we can have some fun with that.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, I'll get to play with explosives, which we know is always sensible.
It's going to be good times.
and being S tier, obviously it's tongue-in-cheek, but it's still amazing and humbling that we were able to get that response out of people for that level of donations, which is just absolutely fantastic for a great cause. And on top of that, it's what brought us all together the first time around, and look how that worked out. So it's been fantastic.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate it, Saber. And yeah, it's one of those things that one can almost forget, just being like, this was the first one you ever did, because it's been running for so long. But I'm most appreciative of all the help and assistance and just being an awesome all-around dude. So thank you, Saber. Mike is going to be here momentarily, so I'm going to go down to Tasty Chai next, and hopefully by the time she's done, all the pictures will be screwed up, and then I'll recapture them, and Mike will be here. But Chai, again, thank you. I know that one of the reasons that you're stepping back is because you got crazy busy stuff going on with family and a bunch of other things. So I'm very appreciative that on short notice, you were able to reconfigure things enough that you could be with us for this. Again, you'll be with us for Talisman, but you're going to be with us one last time for D&D here. So same question to you. How do you feel about leaving River behind after this? And, feel free to weigh in on being S tier, of course, about this if you'd like as well.
Who doubted? Who doubted that we were S tier?
None of you did.
None of us did. No. Anyway, I don't know. I'm kind of sad, honestly. It was fun though with River. It was fun exploring her and figuring out who she was and her motivations, and which is apparently food and friendship. That's all she cares about. She's an anime character, I guess. But anyway, yeah. I for those of you who have not been here, I am playing for the last time, unfortunately, River, who is a silver dragonborn sorcerer and who was temporarily upgraded to full dragon status.
Yes.
But I don't remember if I'm still writing Talismana.
I think you got back on Talismana.
I think I did.
Yeah. You were off for about 3 seconds, and then you're just like, no, I want to be a dragon, and you just got back on the dragon. Well,
it's because everyone kept like jumping out of the hole, and I was like, okay, I can go participate with that, and then they went back in the hole, and I'm like, well, okay, so then I'll just stay here.
Yep. It really was true, and it was that way. But like later on, it's just like they go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. I mean, but always a pleasure to have Chai with us, and I'm so glad that we were able to, when some of the other folks had to step back, that Chai joined in, and as I said, fit right in, I think, with the crew, and that's why everyone was so happy that she's going to stay on with Talisman Adventures. So it was great, so much to have all of this crew with us, and I'll say more about that when we get to the end of the session, but not now, because we need to get ourselves moving on here. And I guess I can try to do this quick recap as I keep stalling for Mike to arrive. The reason I'm stalling is because I really don't want have to Jaeger someone in the middle of the final boss fight. And to be clear, the final boss, Imrith, is still, pretty healthy. I shouldn't say that. Imrith has been hit for a lot of damage, but it is an ancient blue dragon, and so they're dealing with a lot, obviously, here. So let's fire up some music. Let's get some combat music going. I think we had the Orc War March going on. I think we had that, so let's fire that up. And then, of course, we also had There Be Dragons, because there were. And while we're on the subject, how about a little Red Dragon on the ground? Even though it's not a red dragon. Down and dirty. All right, good. There we go. Pretty much just imagine the opening to Skyrim over and over again, and then imagine that it's with someone saying, like, you look like you took it pretty hard back there on the wagon. Imagine someone's not saying that to you, and you'll have pretty much what the sound effects had been for all of this.
You remember the moment when I told you I have not read or seen Lord of the Rings?
Yes. It was a rough moment for me, Pyron. I got to be honest. I don't know why we're going back to that moment, but
I have not played Skyrim.
All right, well, this has been a great session today,
calculator.
and I'm really happy that we've made this happen. How is it possible that you can be such a sensible and intelligent and, well-reasoned person, the head of the stream team, and yet not have seen the greatest work of literature ever recorded by human hand, and also one of the greatest games ever produced? How is this possible?
I don't know. I just keep missing out of random stuff.
Didn't you play that game Goblins? You played Goblins, but you didn't play Skyrim.
Goblins is on GOG.
Yeah, well, okay. I obviously wish Skyrim were on GOG, but,
I've never beat Skyrim.
Well, look, that I understand, all right? So, Pyron, if I say da 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 da, you wouldn't know what that is. See, I just don't. I'm gonna fuss Rodas right into this recap, and I'm just gonna move along. But anyway, regardless, in all seriousness. So in our last session, the party finally brought the attack home to Imrith. And last session, and much of this session, is basically just consisted of combat against Imrith in her lair. Now, there were some things that we're working against, and in case you want to know who Imrith is, please go listen to that audio podcast and or consult the literally 4 years worth of videos available on YouTube on my Pen and Pixels playlist, where you will find all of the information you could ever want about how we got to this point. But at least Pyron knows about the Lusty Argonian Maid. I don't know. I don't know. Do you know about the Lusty Argonian Maid, Pyron?
I always assumed that was Outstar.
So, yeah. So she doesn't see... So, anyway. But as the battle was raging, there were several fronts on which we were focused. The first was up top. There were literally 30 gargoyles. I know because I placed all of them. 30 gargoyles, which the party was having to deal with. And the ones that were responsible for dealing with most of that were the giants, which had come along with the party, and also River, who on the back of Talismana, as she said, became essentially, went from being Dragonborn to Dragon Actual. and then became sort of the bringer of death to not only gargoyles, but also to the trebuchets. There are two of those, one at the top left, one at the top right. Now, the top left trebuchet is almost destroyed. It is very, very damaged, but it's not completely non-functional yet. And that trebuchet has done some serious damage, actually, to Kalismana and to some others on the ground. And so River has been largely dealing with that problem, except for a quick jump off of, which lasted for less than a turn, of Kalismana before she realized, need to get back on the dragon because dragon. And also because, as we said, coming up and down out of the hole isn't going to keep happening. In the meantime, Selsig and Greta have been engaged in several different actions. Both Greta and Selsig, I believe Selsig also turned to giant form, or am I wrong about that? Yeah. So Selsig and Greta both turned to giant form. Greta has been doing some summoning, summoned a Celestial, summoned a Guardian of Faith, has been doing quite a bit of healing up top. And Selsig, who's had a very eventful experience of looking down on a hole of purple worms, going down, coming back up, as he said, noping the heck out of there, getting out there, then being like, I'm going to go back down into the second level. And if we jump down to the second level, you will see that Selsig...
It's been a Silent Hill experience of holes for me.
Yes, exactly. So jumped down into there, then went north into this room, found in this northernmost room this bizarre ritual going on with a group of slithering creatures which Selsig knows to probably be Yuan Ti. They are around this hole and are doing some kind of strange chanting. And then through one of them, basically one of them actually leaped in, I believe, and this weird chanting language came rising out of the pit. The minute that happened, Imrith basically freaked out and went back into the hole and kept yelling, no, no, no. Meanwhile, Selsig was there to observe none other than Diego Maradona, who, when not being the hand of God, also on the soccer field, also serves as the bards and the representative of the harpers that is best known probably to the party. Diego Maradona basically pushed another one into that pit, causing Imrith to really lose it, and then went running away, running basically down towards the room. Imrith promptly annihilated Diego Maradona with her lightning breath. And so Diego is gone, but the Harpers have done something, which is to do something involving this ritual. No one knows exactly what's happening, but Imrith seems really freaked out about it. So Selsig has got a decision to make about what he wants to do now that he is trying to, in quotes, hide behind a pillar as a giant, although he has one big benefit, and that is that he is currently invisible. We'll see how long he will try to maintain that advantage. And last but certainly not least, of course, our beloved friend, who is going to be coming in right now that I see that he's here, Urash. You can see all the pictures are fouled up. We'll get that fixed. Urash is here, and Urash also was leaping on the backs of dragons, did tons of damage. Also, she's got him on his back. She's trying to knock him off her back. It's just basically a crazy go nuts sort of experience. And so all of that has been happening. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture his webcam first, which I think I've almost done. And then I'm going to allow him to...
A barbarian is never late.
Yes, exactly.
I arrive precisely when I'm needed.
Precisely
It's
when
because
he's
they can't
needed.
read the clock.
Oh, dang. Dang.
Wow.
Wow.
That
Brutal
haven't
technique.
seen Lord of the Rings coming through again.
Yep. Urash takes 300 points of heart damage.
Yeah, I think 300 points of feeling damage.
Okay.
While you're doing that, would you like to tell Mike the good news about Saturday?
Yes, the good news, Mike, if you have not already heard it, and then I will allow you to say what you feel about this, is that your team was indeed the top-raising team of ARFCON. You were indeed the S-tier ranked team that raised the most money for the event, which raised $7,000 overall for this event. And given the fact that you, with Peripheral Media, were responsible as the secret sponsor, by the way, that was revealed, you definitely had a major role, obviously, in making that happen. So your thoughts on being S-tier, also your thoughts on playing this particular character, Mike, for the last time, however it turns out. What are your feelings about Urash and moving on from this person?
So I'm going to touch on feelings around playing Urash for the last time. It's weirdly emotional. I've been thinking non-stop about this campaign for the last few days, and I don't really know. It's my first big 5e campaign. Last campaign before this one I played, I would say at least 15, 20 years ago, and it was third edition, advanced third edition maybe, or 3.5 actually, where it was a one shot, and that's literally my only experience of D&D. So being able to not only be as a character where admittedly I didn't need to think too much with Urash. I say this like we're finished already, but like I don't need to think too much with Urash. He's quite a predictable character. Like you can guess what he's going to do on a day-to-day situation, but there's a lot of me in Urash because of general lack of creativity. No, I'm joking. But likes to kind of be the center of attention a little bit, likes to be all up in people's business and sort of like protect his friends at all costs, like literally lays down his life for his friends. Like there's definitely elements there. But yeah, playing him for the last time, I'm not sure how I feel at this point. Does that make sense? Like I've not processed it.
Yeah. It's just I've heard that from a lot of people. I mean, I was just talking to Saber before you came on. I was talking to Saber about that, and Rob was very emotional about Ryuvi, about that, and about the end of the Palace of the Red Pasha.
I watched that. I watched the end.
Yeah, like it was emotional for everybody, and I mean, you knew as TikTok, you knew Gromnir and all that.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it was quite something for him. So that's why I wanted to give space to that, because everyone feels different about those characters, and so that's why I wanted you to. You feel free to continue to process. You don't have to think of something right at the moment.
No,
but I
just
was curious about how you felt.
Yeah, I think it's today, especially like in real life, today's been a bit rushed, so I've not been able to kind of really process, this is probably Urash's last stand, this is whatever happens, this is the last time he'll wield his axe, this is the last time he'll invoke Tempest, etc, etc. Right. But I think during this session it will feel more real as it comes to a close, like the ArvCon session felt like it was like almost the Christmas special. Do you know what I mean? Like it's a big special event, but it's not like the last hurrah. But now it's like, oh no, now we have to mop up. Like now we actually have to finish the fight rather than just doing a bit of a song and dance about it and getting our feet wet, so to speak. But now it's a case of we have to end this chapter. We have to end this campaign, which, yeah, it sucks because I've loved every single session. I don't think there's been one session ever since all the way back from trying to sell an apple cart or apples on a cart when you guys met me in Tribor or wherever it was, wherever you picked me up, to the conversations you and I had, Arv, in regards to, hey, so we've got a D&D campaign, do you want to play? And I'm like, I don't know how to play, he says. And I was like, I don't know how to play. I've not even thought about D&D in years. He says, now owning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Dungeons and Dragons books. Thank you very much, Gregory Wilson.
No problem. Wants the address right here for agent, little commission. Be nice.
And actually, because
between you and Saber, I ought to get a couple thousand.
You definitely should. These are not cheap. My wife actually got me this as a token of this campaign. So she understands D&D. We play a campaign together, but she actually got me this to commemorate the closing out of this campaign. That's cool. And I'm like, one day I will DM. One day I will definitely DM. And I've got this. I've got Candlekeep Mysteries and stuff like that. But I'm just like, that's a really nice closing gift almost. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, here's the book of the adventures that you had. It's really nice.
Yeah, that's cool. And yeah, Storm Kings actually has a big kind of gazetteer and atlas of the world and all these things like that has in there. So
I haven't opened it. I didn't want to spoil anything. Yeah, I really wanted to, but I've looked at the front cover and I've looked at the funny disclaimer at the front, because I've looked at all the funny disclaimers at the front of all the D&D books and they're hilarious. In regards to being the S-ranked here for ArvCon and raising the most money, I pretty much just like to repeat what I said earlier. That's it. There you go. That's all I need to say. One thing I will say is that the Peripheral Media contest winners have been contacted now. So if anybody is in chat who entered that contest, if you haven't received a Twitch whisper from me asking for your email address, unfortunately you weren't successful in winning. But your donation obviously has made a ginormous impact in regards to ArvCon and the cause that it was raising money for the David Running Cancer Research Facility. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you. And again, thank you for doing that, Mike. That was really appreciated. So much generosity from everybody this weekend, individual and company-wide and all that. So thank you. All right, so we've already talked about this, and I was just finishing up with the recap. It was basically talking about you on the back of the dragon. And if I'm not mistaken, what I think I did last time, because I hope I was clever like this, was I led us back up to the top of the round starting with Celsic, because otherwise that really would have confused me.
I think so, yes.
I think that's what we did. So let us get to it. And chat, I also want to say, for those of you expecting inspirations, this is going to be a little wonky because I will be perfectly frank, I didn't have a time to reset inspirations yet. I've been a little busy over the last couple of days, so I didn't have a chance to reset inspirations for now. So I will do the best I can if people have inspirations in my chat, if you need to use them for things. Otherwise, let's hope that these fine, upstanding people don't need inspirations from chat to help. Anyway, we'll see.
We'll be fine.
But regardless, we'll see how that'll go. So, Celsig, I will bring this over to you. So you were standing behind that pillar. You were still invisible.
Yeah.
There is one remaining of these Yuan Ti who's sort of like standing outside the pit, this robed figure. And you don't know what they're going to do yet, but that's what you see. And of course, Imrith is flailing about trying to bash Orosh basically off her back. So.
Yep, and every time I've seen one of these 1T go in the pit, Imrith doesn't seem to like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm having one of those headaches with pictures. An idea, I think they're called.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard a rumor.
Yeah.
So, quickly, if I use a bonus action to dash, do I still get my normal move action?
Yes. If you're
Yes,
using a
okay.
bonus action to dash, then yes.
Yes, okay, because I have a cunning action which will let me dash.
Yep. I
So if
know
use
this
a-
because rogues do this
cunning
all the time.
plan.
They're like, I get to move multiple times.
I remember we got into this a bit on Saturday. We're like, do we? Don't we? Not sure.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
there had to be some rules consulting.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So yes.
Would that get me behind the 1T?
What's your normal movement?
Well, my giant movement is
Oh, right.
hang on,
Yeah,
35.
we're all giants.
So, and if you dash, it's not going to get you.
70.
Yeah, but it's not going to get you behind it even so. If these are 10-foot squares, right? So
Yeah.
10, 23, that's going to get you to the side of the Yuan Ti, not
about
behind
here.
them.
Is that just the dash or with the move as well?
So the dash would get you like here. Oh, if you also then move after the dash, so bonus dash and then move, then
Yep.
yes, you could get behind them. I will say that you're going to have to make a stealth check when you go by here, because even though you're invisible, you are a giant moving
Okay.
through space next to them. So you are going to have to do that. It won't be a super difficult one because the 1T is more interested in the hole in front of it, but, you know.
Okay. Then one stealth check. Possibly the last stealth check of the campaign coming up.
Final
we'll
stealth
see.
check.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Why did I say
I was
that?
going to say, it's only the final stealth check if you fail. There he is. Woo.
21.
Okay, yes. So you're able to get to the other side
Okay.
without difficulty.
I would like to kick the 1T up the arse in the direction of the pit.
All right, I'm going to ask you to make just a basic attack. So you're not doing this with your knives. You're basically just doing an attack with your strength bonus, essentially. I'm going to say
Do I get like advantage or sneak attack bonus for being
not sneak
invisible?
attack bonus, but I'll give you advantage on it.
Okay.
Because
You're massive.
yeah,
Yes.
you are massive and you are somehow invisible on top of being massive. This, by the way, will eliminate your invisibility. You know that, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's an attack, but it's at that point now.
Yeah.
So 17 and well, I'm definitely taking the 17.
Okay. 17 would be better. Okay. So now, so you successfully connect. Now what I need you to do is I need you to roll damage, because that's going to have an effect on how far this person flies in the air.
So what would be the damage roll for this?
Oh,
Bear in
so-
mind, I use dex and bonuses usually.
So let's see. Improvise the giant. Let's say 1d12 plus your strength bonus.
Okay. A 9.
9. I would say that's fair. So so here's what happens. They stumble, like you kick them hard, and they go flying forward and teeter on the edge of the pit. Now, what I'm gonna do here is, Celsig, is I'm gonna say well, let me think about this. Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? Never mind. I'm gonna have them make a roll, which they sure don't make. I had to make a dexterity save, but they sure didn't make it. So they topple over. and fall in. And as they fall into the pit, there is again this this sound of this like sort of, you know, hissing up from the pit, which gives me just enough time to plug in my my thing, because I didn't forget to do that again, Chad, you know, like, at all. It's not the case that for the 75th consecutive time I forgot that I have to put in my echo machine. Right, as I was saying, as they fall, you hear this hissing, and Imrith goes essentially berserk. Imrith just like, no, and just roars and like echoes and rumbles and does a couple of things. So the first thing she does, this is of course her legendary ability, because again, dragon.
Obviously.
So she is going to look towards you, Selsig, and she is going to breathe directly at you, her lightning breath, because she's real angry. Okay.
You can dodge, right?
I can.
Oh, good.
In fact, I have a couple of tricks up my sleeve for just such an occurrence. Whether or not they help.
Let's see. So, that is going to be... I love reading the... Okay, yeah. 120-foot line. Okay. And I need you to make a dexterity saving throw for me, please.
Okay. So if I succeed, I take no damage. I take half damage on a fail.
Right, because of the dodge, is what you're saying?
Evasion.
Right.
Actually, a quick rule point here. So I have evasion, which I've just described. I also have uncanny dodge, which gives me a reaction to reduce damage by half.
Right. If you take damage, you can reduce it with uncanny dodge. I don't think you can stack it, though, with evasion, because otherwise you wouldn't take the damage. So like.
So I can't take half of half?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
So it's kind of a half or nothing sort of, or all half or nothing.
Okay. Well, Dex saving throw coming up.
Does Selsig still have the inspiration you gave him last time? I would think so.
No, I used that on Urash.
Oh, okay. Then no, not that. Effect Life gave you an inspiration.
No, I didn't use an inspiration then, as far as I remember, unless anyone can correct me on that.
I don't think you did. No, not
I
your
don't think you
inspiration.
Then, if you want, you could use
your
it.
inspiration on me, but you
Worth
got
a try. I think it's worth a try at this point. Well, 16.
16 is better, but not enough. So that means you are going to take. All right. Yeah. You are going to take 86 points of damage from this lightning. Now,
I'm evaporated.
well, so this is what I have to ask. So you missed the dexterity save. So you still have evasion on top of it?
Well, the rule for evasion is if I fail the dex save, I take half damage.
Right.
And then I have uncanny dodge, which says I can use a reaction to reduce damage by half.
Yeah. So you can't stack those. So you're going to take half of this. So that means you're only going to actually take 43 points of damage. That still means, though, that your giant form is, right, because you were at 37 on a 1 out of 2.
Mario hits a mushroom sound.
Exactly. So -6, which means that you are going to be down now to blah 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 blah. Right. So you were -3. So you're out of your giant form now. So you're at -3 out of 51. So you are down and normal sized.
And in death saving throw territory.
Yes, that is quite right. Okay, Selsig hits the ground. Simultaneous to this, though, Urash, as you were on the back and you see your companion go down, you see this blue-greenish, what I can only describe as a blue-greenish cloud emanating from the pit. And you see, almost like tendrils, that it is up over the pit, and it is pulling towards not only Selsig, but also towards Imrith. And Imrith is, like, freaking out. Like, Imrith is now, like, trying to, like, basically pull her way out of the room.
Okay.
So, that's just something to keep in mind. You can't react to it yet, but you will be able to in a minute. All right. Selsig
Can I react with vocals?
Yeah, you can. Sure. Well, what do you want to vocally react to? How do you want to vocally react?
Greta!
Okay. Wait, what was that?
Greta!
Oh, Greta. Okay, yeah. All right. So Greta, I think
As
you may.
loud as I can while holding on to Imrith.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about whether you get over the sound of a dragon plus
Yep.
gargoyles plus
Well, that's-
upside. I'll
I
have
just
Greta
do the
make.
thing, you
Let me
tell
have
me
Greta
if
make
I
a
can
perception
do
check
it.
at disadvantage, please. You hear.
I'm busy.
Yeah.
That's
You
what you
hear
hear.
many things.
You have reached the line, but Greta is busy.
Oh man, yes. That's really funny. Please leave a message. Greta will get back to you if she survives this fight. Okay, that's going to bring us to River and Kalismana. So River, you are still, fighting the good fight up here with 3 gargoyles. You have your giant buddy up here. There's multiple gargoyles behind you, and there's that leftover trebuchet. Although there's nothing actually on the trebuchet operating it at the moment.
Didn't I kill the trebuchet, but you couldn't delete it?
No. You know what? You're
Yes.
right. You're right. Yes, you're right. Yes,
Trebuchet is
indeed.
dead.
I didn't mark
Yeah,
that.
the
That's right.
trebuchet is-
I couldn't delete it. That's why it's still there.
Yeah.
You're quite right.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay. Just making sure.
I'm going to actually put a red extra so I don't forget. Yes.
Scribble
That
it.
trebuchet is not there. Okay, never mind.
Yay!
So, so it's just the gargoyles. The trebuchet on the other side of the arena, though, is still hale and hearty.
Okay. Oh, and it's still manned as well. Manned. Gargoyled. Still
Gargoyles,
gargoyled. Well, no matter what I do, I don't have a whole lot of range. But it looks like my good friends down there. I noticed Greta is being attacked, so I think that we'll try to go help. Oh, wait, hang on. I have one thing I have to do. I don't have breath weapon.
I know.
Damn, Kalismana.
There, I think. I think that's as far as I can go. Which, or I could double move because I don't think I can hit any of them from here.
If you're flying,
I'm flying.
you still have the stat block that I sent you?
Yes, I'm looking at it right now.
What is the fly speed?
It's 80. I thought.
Well, I mean, because you were right here. Sorry, I
Where was I?
ignore that.
Did I lose me?
No, you were right here. Sorry, like this. You were right here, right? So if you were
Oh, I thought
there,
I was up further. Maybe I wasn't.
No, you were right there that I had you. Well, even if you were here, let's say you were here. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. If you fly, you can get down to them easily.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
So then
remember
I
we
just...
said you can basically take off, fly, and then land again. That's
Right.
A dragon can do that.
Okay, so there's that guy, and then well, murder him to try and free up this guy to go help Greta.
Okay, the one with the flaming sphere behind him, or the one that's just up on his own here?
The one that's up on his own,
Or
because
up
it looks
here.
like he hasn't been.
Yeah, he has
Hurts.
not been affected as much. That's correct.
Okay, so multi-attack is 1 bite, 2 claws. So, D2 plus 8. That's right. I'm remembering. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. So 21, 10, and 23.
21 and 23 will both hit.
Okay, so then I have. So I'm going back through it. I remember what it is, chat. I swear. Plus 5. Okay, so that's the bite.
Okay.
And then D6. That's the claw.
Okay.
Okay, so 20. 20
so
points of damage.
That's a big crunch into the gargoyle. It is not dead, but definitely pieces of stone rain off of it. You did a lot of damage there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you are now, because you've now used your moves, you're now engaged with that one.
Yes.
So that's going to lead us down to Urash, meanwhile, in the level below, on top of Imrith. And again, Imrith is trying to, get you off and is also trying to back out of the room as this, terrible whatever it is coming out of the pit.
Well, I have a plan, but it's not an especially smart one.
Okay.
I still have a rope with me, don't I?
I believe we talked about that, and yes, you do.
Excellent. So I've just landed on Imrith, inflicted a good amount of damage, caused the discomfort, and to kind of stumble towards this cavern. Imrith is freaked out and now wants away from this cavern, yes?
That seems very much like it.
Excellent. So Urash is going to, and please tell me if I can do this mechanically. Urash is going to get his now giant rope from his back and try and lasso the ancient blue dragon. So he can basically wrap the rope around the dragon's neck and attempt to steer it towards the pool.
So the answer to that is yes, I think you can do that. You're going to have to make a dexterity check to tame this dragon. Well, it's not going to be tamed, but to push your thing around it.
Absolutely not going to be tamed, but...
Now, you're going to do a dexterity check. I'm going to warn you now that this is at disadvantage because this thing is flailing and trying to get you off, like, actively. So you're going to be doing this at disadvantage. If you can compensate with an inspiration from somewhere, then you could make that a neutral roll.
Anybody has inspirations, this would be a good time.
Yeah.
Because my dexterity is okay, but not fantastic.
So, do the Imperial Marcher's rope hobbling trick. Let's see. Anyone?
I would if I was on the floor. If I was on the floor, Triffid, I would. I'd just run
running around and around and around, and then just like.
Yeah.
You will inspire him.
Says,
and Effect Life, you do have an inspiration, so I will take account of that. I'm going to make sure.
Thanks, Effect Life.
Hold on 1 second while I just put that in. Remove inspiration from Effect Life. Okay.
So this is either going to go really, really well or really, really badly.
Yep. This is just
to be fair, that's most of Urash's plans.
Yeah, that's just a Tuesday. That's a typical Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a typical Tuesday in Urash's world. You fail enough times so that the one time you succeed, you're an absolute legend. Okay, so straight dex. What was I doing? Dex check.
That is right. So it would be a acrobatics. I would take if you have that. Actually.
Oh, thank Christ!
Yeah, I would take acrobatics. Sure, for something like this, absolutely.
Thank God.
Yep.
Okay, just normal acrobatics roll. That would be a 23.
I would say okay. So.
Oh, you have to check. Oh, this is serious.
No,
that is the best teeter I've ever seen on Roll20. It teetered on a 10.
It was,
wasn't it?
And I'm here to tell you that she did not make her check. So you lasso it around her neck, and she's just, like roaring like wildly. You are practically, we'll see what she does on her turn, but yeah, you have control over her now. Technically, I shouldn't say that. Let me rephrase. You have the lasso over her neck. You don't have control over her.
Yeah.
But you have the lasso around her neck. Now, what are you going to try to do with that? Because you have a move left, and I'll allow you to try to do something with it.
Okay. So what I would like to try and do is, if the lasso is around the neck, I want to know if it would be possible to either maneuver the rope so that Imrith kind of goes forward in a sort of jerky manner, kind of staggers forward a bit, or jump off of Imrith and try to drag Imrith towards the pool. That's my least favourite option.
Okay. So your least favorite is to drag her towards the pool.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, for obvious reasons. Your optimal would be...
My optimal would be trying to kind of like maneuver. I'm trying to think of something that I can liken it to, but I can't.
I have one thought of how to do this, but it's very dangerous and it may result in the loss of a weapon. But one of the things you could do would be holding on to the rope with one hand and basically trying to axe cut her in the butt with the other. You're basically trying to essentially, if you imagine...
If you let me do that,
I will let you try, but it's going to be very risky. It's going to be exposing you to attack and all these other things, but you could do that.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, so I've basically bunched the rope in one hand, and I've got my axe in the other hand, and I'm just essentially blade whipping the ancient blue dragon towards so that the ancient blue dragon sort of goes, "Ow! There's something attacking me. I need to move forward."
Right. That is something which I think you can do. What I'll do is I'm going to ask you to make an attack roll for this, and if you hit, then we're going to move her forward. She, on her turn, will have advantage on attacks against you because you're doing this. But this is the plan. So, so yes.
So I'm at disadvantage. Is that right? No, sorry. I'm at disadvantage next turn, regardless.
She is going to have advantage on attacks against you.
Okay, cool.
You are not disadvantaged at the moment, no. This is just a
Okay.
regular,
Then I will attack recklessly, which gives me advantage
Okay.
on this attack. So let me just read. Is there anything else I need to... You attack with fierce desperation. When you make your first attack on your turn, you can decide to attack recklessly. Doing so gives you an advantage on melee weapon attack rolls using strength during your turn, but attack rolls against you have disadvantage on your next turn. So, Juan To. Oh, both of those suck. 16 is my best one.
Okay. I still think, let's see, 16. Yeah,
I'm on
it's
the
not-
back of her.
Yeah, you are on the back of her, but it's not quite enough. I got to do a little bit of that. So 16 is not going to hit. She kind of flails out of the way, and not completely, but it's a glancing blow, and she roars again her defiance. And since I believe that's the end of your turn at the moment, Urash.
Yes, because the lassoing was essentially one move, wasn't it?
Yes. That's right.
Yeah, so I
one
wouldn't
move
get like
and then
a
the
double
hit was the
attack or
second
anything,
one. So
yeah. First attack was the lassoing. Second attack was the miss. Cool.
That's right.
Me.
So she is now going to.
I don't know if anybody can hear
Oh,
me
we
because
hear you
I
now.
can't hear
We hear you
nothing
now.
at all.
You're
Camera
coming through
all
loud and
frozen.
clear.
Yeah.
No web pages are loading. Nothing is working here for me. So I feel like I might have upload so you can hear me, but I have no download like at all. So I will reboot my router and just hope for the best.
Okay.
See you in a moment.
Okay. Sounds good. That means the pictures are going to be fouled up for a minute, chat. Please bear with me, because if I recapture them, then I'm going to have to recapture them again, and nobody wants that. So just bear with me. This will be symbolic as Pyron reboots. This will be symbolic of Urash trying to hold on to the dragon as like the entire screen shakes.
That's basically my view at the moment. I'm just like, images.
Just like, I can't see. Okay. So Imrith is going to attempt to attack you.
This is a legendary reaction, isn't it?
No, this is her turn. She goes right after you.
Cack.
So let's see.
Good. I'll get my red alert light ready already. So there we go.
It's like word. Oh man. Okay.
I have too much fun with this. These RGBs.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I feel the same way about my setup. It turns to look at you is never good in D&D. That's quite true.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's going to try to get 3 attempts to bash you into the wall. We have got a 26, a 29, and a 26.
Yeah, those will just hit me.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
With an AC of 14, those would just about scrape
Close.
through.
It was a close one. But
Yeah.
okay, let's see. So we've got that is 22, 20,
No,
and-
plus, not times. Jesus, Mike.
22, 20, and 26. So that would be 42 and 20. So that's 68 damage on those hits.
Yes, halved.
Right. So
So 34.
34, which puts you
Okay.
at 65, I think.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So bash, bash, bash. And then it again attempts to scramble out of the way, but there's a little bit of good news here.
Can I shout
Sure, if you want.
whilst it's happening? I just basically roar back at the dragon. You're not getting rid of me that easy. I deliver Tempest's judgment today.
Goes all Super Saiyan on you. And as she backs up, you suddenly pitch forward as something enormous impacts her from behind and sends her stumbling forward into the room. And, sorry, that's basically right. As you look, you can see that King Hecaton, whose turn
Big
it was right
H.
after her, came running in and basically has picked up what you're laying down, and is bashed into her and is now trying to basically push her. Essentially, it is an enormous feat of strength, just pushing her up from the back. And she, on her turn, on her legendary action, because this is a legendary action, is going to tail attack him. This is the easiest way to describe tail attack ever, since he's behind her. So it fits. He is going to take... Okay. He's going to take another of those. She slams him in the face. You see there is blood sort of pouring down his face, but he has his teeth gritted, and he says, "You won't get away from me, worm," and continues to strain and push against her as she shrieks and screams, getting closer to whatever this cloud is that's coming out of the pit. That was King Hecaton, and in the meantime, the other giants are also going to get their attacks in. This one that's dealing with three.
Question
Sure,
when you get
sure.
a second.
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt. Just an observational question. This cloud, is it literally just above this pool, or is it like reaching out?
It's
And
now
if so,
reaching
how
out.
far is it? Is it like 5, 10, 15, if we had to guess?
I will see if I can lay down here.
Thank you.
There we go. Not that far, not that far.
Oh, wow. I was going to say.
Damn it. But it is growing, though. It is this far so far, and it's growing.
Okay.
Maybe 10 feet clear of Celsig at this point.
Mm.
Okay. Now, the giants are up top, and they are still attacking the gargoyles. He is going to hit twice and miss once. All right, and he's going to really badly hurt this guy, so much so that I'm going to mark him as being hurt. Not the other two, though, because you can only do one at a time. He down here is going to try to hit the one that's got the flaming sphere on it with two terrible rolls and one roll that actually makes it. And actually, because of the flaming sphere, that will also eliminate that one. So he does wipe that one out. There's 3 left. This guy is going to come in on the one that's fighting Greta. And is going to try to wail away. And is going to hit with one of those again. And is going to do a little damage to it. So it still looks okay, but it's definitely been hit a couple times. Okay, those are the giants. And next up is Greta, who may... Okay, no download at all. On mobile right now, working on it. Okay, so let's see. I have to make a decision about whether I want one of you to Jaeger Pyron or whether I want to... Where's my camera? Work, camera. Here. Wait, focus.
The more expensive the camera you purchase, the harder it is for it to remain focused
Yeah,
on
the
one thing.
autofocus is really good on this usually, but anyway.
Dangerously good.
Okay, so right, so I'm trying to decide whether to have Pyron do that because I know all the windows are screwed up also. I guess what I will do is I'll have one of you. I don't know that she's even got... I mean, I guess she's got cantrips, but I think she said that she's out of healing spells.
She said she's down to level 1 and cantrips, I think.
Okay. So, the question is what she would actually do at this point. I don't know. Can someone, while I'm trying to reset the cameras, could someone just quickly ask her in Discord, like, what she would normally have done in this turn, and then we can try to approximate it? I'm doing the classic trick of recapturing the windows, which automatically means that they will be screwed up again. That summons the people to put them back wrong again. So that's why we always do this.
I have asked in Discord.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Goes over there. Okay. And bear with us, chat, for just a second. Just getting everything squared away, or trying to. With Windows. Okay. And Celsig. If I were really prepared, I'd have OBS scene with zoom captures prepared for any number of disconnected players. You're right. I really should have the in case of disconnect set on my screen.
Yeah.
Because really, Chris, my OBS source list is not yet crowded enough. I need more sources and more folders and more stuff. Although I am very excited that they just added a thing where you can do now source transition instead of just scene transition. So camera now fades in and out, which is lovely.
Nice.
And it's
That's
per
really
scene, so you could have it transition on some scenes, but not on others if you wanted to.
That's really nice. I wonder
Yeah.
if the Mac version has that yet.
Yeah.
I guess I'll find out tomorrow on a stream.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, and hide transition fade. There we go. So you can go like, all right, there we go. Anyway. Okay, plus backup generators. Yes, that's clearly what I should have done. Okay, so I've got you all captured. Has she responded yet?
No, nothing yet. She's typing at the moment.
Okay.
Yep, responding.
All right, hang on. Bear with us for one moment, chat.
It doesn't help we can't see her character sheet to see what
Yeah.
cantrips or level
I
1
know.
spells she's got.
I know.
We could guess, like, and see who is closest. That would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine her doing much beyond supporting the fight that she's currently embroiled in.
I think it's going to be that gargoyle in front of her.
That's
I think
my
she's
guess.
gonna
She'd
hit
just be
it, to
aiming at her.
honest.
That's what I'm guessing too. Yeah.
She's going to get up close and personal with the gargoyles now.
When
Because
she heard something from the whole guy,
yeah, she heard roaring. That's it. She heard a very angry dragon.
Something out of Sergeant Pepper. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
She said,
whack the gargoyle in
There you
front of
go.
me.
Hit other gargoyle with flaming sphere. Try to make way toward hole. Lovely. All right. So, so let's see. So whack the gargoyle in front of her. So we can have her do that if we can see the basic. Let me see. I'm just pulling up her character. Okay, so she's got the mace, which would be +7 attack, and it's 1d6 +3 bludgeoning. Is that? So would someone be? I always hate rolling for the players. Would someone mind?
Do you
too
want me
much?
to roll a d20?
Yes, d20 and
what
add
was it?
7,
D20 plus 7. 1d20
and then the damage is 1d6 +3.
plus 7. So this is for Greta.
Oh!
And it's a crit.
Wow! All right. The crit. See, this is what happens. It should be like, oh well, it's a crit. We won't tell you if it's a fail or a success.
Yeah.
So it's what did I say? 1d6 +3 bludgeoning. Is that?
Yes, 1d6 plus 3. So what do you do on... Oh, is there anything about critical hits on her skills or anything like that?
I don't know. Otherwise, what I do is just max
think there would
damage, which
be.
is my own
Just max damage.
house rule.
So 1d6 plus 3.
I don't remember her picking up any crit bonuses.
Right.
Mm. I
don't
just
think
have to make sure because Urash is stack and everything, so it's crazy for about
Yeah,
that.
And my gambler's rapier, which has never critted the entire time I've had
no.
it.
Yet it's never critted yet. You're not dead yet, mate. So do you want me to just roll 1d6 plus 3, or do you want to max?
No,
that
it's
out?
it's going to be max damage, so it's going to be 9. There's
All
not.
right. Wait, it
would've
was, I
been
rolled
anyway.
max
All right,
damage.
that's fine. Okay. So big crunch into the side of the
Wallop.
gargoyle. It's not dead though, having just arrived there. Okay, and then she said you wanted to move the flaming sphere, which would move into this creature's vicinity, and then
Yes. So what does the flaming sphere do?
look down at flaming.
She
sphere.
said she wanted to move towards the hole, so maybe she meant
Yes.
this gargoyle.
Maybe.
Oh, so
Yeah, entirely possible. So that gargoyle's like this one here is kind of tied up with the flaming sphere, so Greta could move towards the hole.
Okay, so you're saying she would want the flaming sphere. She want the
Well,
flaming
yeah,
sphere here, is what you're saying?
She said she
yes.
wanted to try and make way towards hole, so in my mind it makes sense she'd go for that gargoyle.
I got you.
Yeah, she said, whack the gargoyle in front of me, hit the other gargoyle with flaming sphere, try to make way towards hole. So I'm
the
going to
third
guess.
gargoyle's like away, which is
Yeah,
not really her
gargoyle's-
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's got a giant and a dragonborn on it. So that's solid.
Okay, so
River's got that
the
situation
sphere
well in hand.
Let's see.
I still love we have like River on Dragon air support for this. It's so good. I said on Saturday, like, this is so Dragon God.
Yeah,
It really is, yeah.
Saving throw against the sphere's damage. Okay, so
Oh,
I like it
really
too.
hope. Yeah, yeah. I really hope that there's this moment. There's this almost like Spider-Man meme moment where Urash and River see each other on the back of dragons.
aha!
We're just like,
That would be pretty cool.
you've got one too.
Your one likes you though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that his is a totally different situation.
Completely different. Okay,
Mine's a little grumpy.
roll 2d6 for me, Mike, since you rolled her before. That's the damage the
2d6.
flaming sphere does because it failed its save. So
2d6. There you go. That's a 9.
okay. So slam.
These are not
and
bad
slam.
rolls.
Yeah,
Why
no,
can't I
they're
roll like this?
yeah. You should be a cleric more often.
Yeah.
All right. So right. Okay. So
I
she did that.
technically am in the next campaign.
Oh, that's true.
Yes,
And
yes,
then are you,
are.
Are you going
Yes.
straight toward? But she can't really get past that gargoyle. So that's the best she can do. She smacked the sphere in, and she's did the damage.
So there's no way of getting past this gargoyle in front of her.
not a giant
taking
shape.
an attack of opportunity.
Right. And I would say
Okay.
not even. And she's blocked right now because she's giant form. If she were in dwarf form, she could probably get past them, but there's not enough room.
Okay.
The gargoyle would not let her pass. She could run
Okay.
around the other way, which would inflict an attack of opportunity. Like she could go around the
Right.
building.
So this gargoyle is in combat with Greta. Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, cool. It looked a bit weird under. I didn't, because I've not been paying
Aha.
too much attention about the gargoyles.
There we go.
I didn't see which way. There you go. I didn't see which way the gargoyle was actually facing.
Yeah.
So
They've
that
been,
makes
you've
sense.
been busy with other affairs.
I've been underground.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been underground. Okay. All right. So she does that, and that's going to lead us to the gargoyles. Our ISP is down. Oh my god.
Oh no.
Timing. The timing, though. All right. Okay. So it's too bad that she can't. If she could join us, like even via mobile on Zoom, you know, like even if she was using cell, like as long as we have her, the Roll20 stuff we can probably manage. But anyway.
Yeah. True.
Okay. Oh, speak of that. Okay, hold on one second. Bear with me.
What would you need to get on Zoom on mobile? Because I'll mention it if it's not
just
a
the
thing.
app, I believe. Just the app. Do you want to? Are you typing? Yeah, you're typing. Your situation in Hole looks like they need me. Stop using Flaming Sphere. Cast Spirit Guardians on self and drop down Hole. God, Spirit Guardians is a crazy spell. I used that. We were playing Curse of Strahd, and we were in a room full of like shadow monsters. And because I'm playing the cleric, I decided to cast Spirit Guardians, and it just turned the room into a blender. Like, I cannot believe how effective that spell was. I also still have a second Radiance of Dawn left. Okay. I always think of the Hammer of Dawn from Gears of War when I hear Radiance of Dawn.
Sorry about that.
I mean, the problem is the two of us down in the hole know we need Greta down in the hole, but Greta doesn't know we need Greta down in the hole.
Yeah,
which is the
and
problem.
this is the problem. This is the problem with one of us, like one of us three playing Greta, is that we play her to our own interests as well. So that's not realistic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Very little mobile reception in this rural area.
Okay, so gargoyles are what we're looking at next. So the gargoyles are going to. It was strange though that we could see her, because like.
Yeah, her upload was perfect.
Her upload was
like,
fine.
There was
Like, it was
there
just-
was no stutter, there was no robot noise, no nothing that you'd associate with that. But it just, I used to be plagued with internet issues myself. Touchwood or veneer or whatever this is made of. It's not going to happen again anytime soon, but it can just happen like that sometimes.
Yeah, it was strange. Anyway, all right. These three. Okay, so the gargoyles who go next anyway. 'Cause Greta's done what she can do.
To be fair, Mr. Zeno makes a good point. We've been separated from Greta for 10 minutes, so of course she knows we need her.
Yeah, we're either dead or in trouble.
That's funny. Well, the fact that she hasn't seen either of you is.
I mean,
gives me not have
after a
much of a chance to
5-year
do anything about it.
campaign, I think we could argue there's that kind of knowledge of the other characters.
Well, no, Perrin said that Greta thought that we were both dead, basically, because we went in the hole and then a dragon came out of the hole. So
Yeah, but you
that- she
came
just
back out the
assumes-
hole and jumped in again.
That's
Yes,
true.
I did. Yes, it's very true. I did. Yeah.
Me
yeah,
again.
scratch that. Yeah.
Okay, so these two are going to hit this. This giant is in rough shape. This giant does not look, this one up here does not look like he's going to make it for much longer. We will see. Then we have these. This one here is not going to be able to move out of the way of that sphere. And so it's going to take damage from it. But it's going to first attack if it can. And it will... those are three misses. Then the one that is on Kalismana, that's attacking Kalismana, I should say, is going to hit with... It's going to hit with its claws. So that is going to be a 21. So, River, that's going to be a 21 to hit Kalismana?
Yep, he's got 18. So.
Okay. And that is going to be... that's going to be 8 points of damage that is done to Kalismana. And I think that puts Kalismana at 71, if I'm not mistaken.
Only 71.
Yeah.
So
That's-
remember, I gave him a health
Uh,
potion. So
Pyron says that you need to let her in on Zoom. She's trying to get back in.
Yeah.
Yep, I see it.
Oh,
Hey.
Hey, something.
hello,
Are
hello. Can you
back?
hear
Can
us?
you hear us?
I can
Hello.
hear you. I cannot
Hey.
open Twitch
Okay.
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 because our internet ISP completely disconnected. We couldn't do anything, and we're now back, but with very, very little download. So I cannot open
Okay.
Twitch.
I mean, look, who the hell
That's
cares? Well, who
fine.
needs Twitch, right? Am I right, chat? I mean, who...
There are
what?
people there. There are people there. I like them people.
Well, we were even saying, like, as long as you were here, like, we could take care of, like, the Roll20 stuff, the Twitch stuff, all that sort of stuff. Like, as long as you are there to say, oh, well, Greta does this. This is the role. Like,
I'm
we could roll
seriously
for
sorry.
you and everything like that.
No, that's totally fine.
It's not your fault.
But Pirate, it was really funny though when you were there. Mr. Zeno pointed out, like, because they're like, oh, well, we don't want to have to be in a situation where we're playing her because we know that we need Greta down there with us, but Greta doesn't know that. And Mr. Zeno was like, if she hasn't seen you for 10 minutes, Greta's going to immediately assume that you need her. Like, how long have you been with this party? Like, it's just like,
so true.
it's pretty
so
much true. I mean, like,
Yeah. She just assumes we're dead at this point.
Yes, I already assumed you were dead once during this fight.
But as was pointed out, you resurfaced. So like once Urash showed up again, you're like, well, maybe you're not dead. Anyway, I will. So they did take your turn, which is we got what you wanted, which was whack the gargoyle in front of you. Which I would point out that actually Mike playing you critically hit. So let me just say.
And I got
and rolled,
and I got
and
and
rolled
I
max
got
damage.
I got triple dice because of giant form.
We
Oh,
might not have
completely
taken that
forgot
into
about
We
account.
didn't do that.
Completely forgot about
Yeah,
that.
you're right.
So that
Didn't
would
do
be so I rolled max damage. So that'd be
So
9.
it's max damage for 3 dice worth.
27.
Yeah.
So we're talking
I only
about
have a
27,
mace, but still.
I think.
Yeah.
I think it'd be 27.
Yeah,
points,
27 instead of 9. I'd
Oh,
completely
right.
forgot
That's
about
a
that.
bit of a difference.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a difference.
Also, Pyron, I don't know if you remember this. That gargoyle on you, one of the two of them took damage from your Guardian of Faith, and I was trying to remember if it was the one that was attacking you.
It's
Okay.
the one that was attacking me.
All right, so then this one that you're on is very hurt, extremely hurt. However,
Also,
you
not
could
that it
get-
matters. I forgot to do that for my kick up the arse.
Okay. I also now managed to open chat.
yeah.
Managed to open chat in an app. So hi chat.
Huzzah! The internet is gradually returning. Okay. All right,
Put a
so the
massive note on my
gargoyles.
desktop.
The gargoyles were
Times
attacking.
3.
They attacked Kalismana. They attacked the giants. Let's see. The giants are, especially this guy and this guy, are looking in very bad shape after having been sort of knocked around a bunch. And then we have, of course, the trebuchet, which is functional. This one over here
Oh,
on the right
forgot
side.
about that bugger.
So let's see. He's probably going to take a shot on Kalismana, who continues to be the biggest threat. So trebuchet launches. Oh right. I needed my siege equipment thing. Thank you, DMG. I remember.
Your siege equipment supplement that came with issue 42 of the Dungeon Master's Compendium.
Yes, exactly. Although if you get the season pass, you can get whatever.
That reminds
You
me
get
of buying
trebuchet.
White Dwarf magazine.
Oh, white.
They used to
Dwarf
give
That's
away-
where I took.
magazine.
That's
Yeah,
where I took
yeah.
that inspiration from.
They used to give away talisman characters in that all the time.
Did they
Yeah.
really in White Dwarf?
Yeah. Yeah, it
Oh,
was just like,
man.
here's some stats for a new talisman character.
God, Because see, that was because it was more of a UK thing than it was. Like I never saw it. I mean, I got Dragon and Dungeon magazine here, but like,
Yeah, I bought the White Dwarf magazine for many a year. I think I still have them in storage somewhere.
let's see.
Yeah, I used to buy it a lot when I used to play Warhammer Fantasy.
Okay, there we go.
Really good for that.
Got one.
May have plagiarized some stories for English essays.
Yeah.
Really? Looks at in okay. So 17. You said the Kalismana had an 18, right? River?
Yes.
That is like the second time that the Trebuchet has barely missed Kalismana. Like, amazing. Kalismana somehow impacts on the rock behind it, on the rock behind him. Okay, those were all the gargoyles, and that is going to bring us, as soon as I can find my mouse, that is going to bring us back up to Celsig with River/Kalismana on deck. So Celsig, you are down there, and you need to make a death saving throw for me.
That's just this is a first for me, so it's just a D20, isn't it?
It is just a D20, that is right. On a 1, you have 2 fails. On a 20, you are back up with 1 hit point. Well, you're prone, but you're
Okay.
back up. And on a higher than 10, it's a success. On a higher and a lower than 10, it's a failure.
Okay. Oh, that teaser got me for a second.
Yeah,
then.
it sure did. All right, 1 success. All right, 1 success. Good. You get to repeat that nerve-wracking moment next round. All right, good round, everybody. Good turn. That moves us over to River and Kalismana. So, Trebuchet barely missed you. You've got the gargoyle still in front of you, River.
All right, let's triple threat that guy. Oh wait, hang on. There's something very important before we do that.
Do you
Yeah,
get your breath
breath
weapon?
weapon.
Yeah, it's back. Ooh,
Yeah,
see,
but
this is interesting because you could like get all of those creatures, and you just also happen to accidentally hit the giant and Greta. But you know, look, I mean,
Yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna save it. We're holding that.
okay,
But we're still gonna try and triple threat it. So that means I need that one, that one, that one. So the 14 misses, right?
the 14 will miss. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's basically the same thing that happened last time. So there's the bite. Ugh. And then there's the claw.
29. Okay. Yeah, that's so. And after that, and you hit last time, that's going to destroy that. So that thing bursts into stone and fragments, leaving now a space open to the hole. You've also got those 2 gargoyles down there, and the gargoyles behind you in the arena, and the ones manning the trebuchet. So you still have a move technically.
We're
that
going
you can
here.
use.
We're going here. I think I can't go down the hole, but I can make it to the hole, so
Yes.
that's good.
So you get a chance to look down. Now, from your vantage point, what you basically see is you see Hecaton pushing an enormous blue thing, which has got to be obviously Imrith, seems to be pushing her into this chamber that you can't quite see that's like below the room. So that's what you see. There's also lots of roaring and screaming and shrieking.
Right.
Like that. Thank you, baby. Exactly.
Yeah.
Precisely. Okay. That was River and Kalismana. That leads us to Urash. Okay, Urash, you are still Doctor Strange loving it up here, so it is your turn. Hecaton is behind you, trying to push. Imrith is still flipping out.
The baby hit a button, and now I'm Greta. Oh, I'm sorry.
I see.
This is fine. We can switch for just the last session if
didn't.
you want to.
I didn't know you knew transmutation. I didn't know those sort of spells you had access to.
Right? Okay.
The baby hit a button. I'm suddenly Greta. This is like,
Yeah.
this is cool. I like it.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
a normal
mind,
Tuesday in
but I...
River's world.
There's that. Oh, Urash is there, yes. And Greta's there. Okay, good. Lovely. Wonderful. Of course, I could just reorganize the Zoom windows if that function actually worked. I reiterate my desire, Zoom, to please get with the program and fix your window setups. Also, make them independently volume controlled, please. You've had a couple of years, for the love of God. Please take hold of your position as top video conferencing platform, for the love of God. All right. That's that. We are with Urash,
Yes.
who is trying to figure out what to do.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to go old school. Now that Hexon is behind Imrith, I think I'm now just going to concentrate on inflicting damage on Imrith.
Okay.
So, could you very briefly remind me of the turn order? Is it me, Imrith, then Hexon?
Yes,
Okay.
that is the order.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to drop the rope and I'm going to attack him with twice on the back.
Okay. So you let go of the rope, and then you are attacking twice on the back. All right. Go ahead and make your attacks.
Excellent. I'm also going to recklessly attack.
So then you'll be at disadvantage on.
I'll be disadvantaged next time, but I'm at advantage this first time.
Okay.
So this is reckless attack.
And remember, by the way, she will still have advantage on attacks on you. That for this turn, as a function of.
Yes.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'm. It's not a good spot to be a half-orc barbarian right now. But
This
I'm
is
just taking whatever.
this is
I
not looking great for the home team. I guess you're the visiting team.
Yeah, well, yeah, true. So when you make your attack, when you make your first attack on your turn, so the first attack is at advantage, not both of them. So this will be my first attack.
Also, this grew a little bit. I forgot to mention.
Oh, excellent stuff. Thank you.
It's
yeah,
now
reckless
just licking at
attack is-
Celsig's extended arm, lying unconscious.
Actually, I have had a dramatic change of heart. If I play something out to you, what I would like to do is I would like to slide off the back of Imrith and push her towards the cloud, taking note of the fact that I have improved capacity of strength because of my mammoth totem spirit animal. So my lift, carry, push, pull, break capacity is doubled. Would I be able to, as a giant with a strength of 25, be able to push Imrith? Similar to
yes.
Hexon would.
I think you made a good argument, especially since you have another giant. In fact, the king of the giants actually helping
Yes.
you next to them. So, yes, I think you can do that, but you're going to have to make a dexterity check, not a saving throw. It's not a super hard one, but it is kind of hard because no, actually, never mind. It's a pretty, it's not easy because you're trying to get off of her back without falling, basically. So,
Right, okay.
and she's flailing about. So, yes, go ahead and make a dexterity check, and we will see where you end up.
Dexterity check. Now, could this have anything to do with danger sense, where I could potentially have advantage if I can see dangers on dexterity saving throws? Dexterity checks?
I think it's a stretch.
Yeah.
I think
All right.
yeah.
Well, I may as well ask, right?
Yeah.
This is the final
Because this is you
hour,
just
so-
getting off of the dragon, like not necessarily about sensing. The danger
Let's
is
do
I've got to get off the
that
dragon.
then. And that's
Oh!
a crit.
Oh wow! Critically achieves the dexterity roll. Dang! Wow.
It's like water off a swan's back. It
Oh,
just
yeah.
straight off the back of the dragon.
I imagine that you actually hear something along those lines, like da 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 da, as you just gracefully glide off the back.
I just dance down the tail.
And also, I saw Saber's thing about this being the snow runner of dungeon fights. It's quite good. Hello, my boy. Hello, my son. Dinner is ready. Thank you for telling me. Thank you, my child. They are fighting a dragon. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's actually a little girl that she has. Yeah, you're a little boy. And she's littler than you are. You're going to be... How old are you going to be in a few days? How old? Do you remember? Remember how old you're going to be? Here, wait. Let me move my... Okay, now try. How old are you going to be, my boy? And then we'll keep going this fight because I got to keep going. Do you remember how old you're going to be? 5. That's right. You're going to be 5 years old on June 6th. There we go. That's my son. Sorry, he's came to tell me that dinner is ready. So,
Excellent.
okay. So,
As old as this campaign. Crazy.
it's like movie babies, right? We're all sort of like when this campaign started, like, he was barely a year old. I didn't even have hers, right? The whole thing is just that's right. What is this game? They're fighting a dragon. See that dragon? All right, so you slide off the back, and successfully with dexterous skill, and then you're going to push forward. So with you and Hecaton both, make a strength check for me, please. This one I can't do acrobatics or athletics on. This one's just a straight, strength check.
That's okay.
That's what they're doing.
That'll
They're
be a
pushing towards
25.
this cloud, okay? So the dragon, and along with Hecaton, is pushed forward. Now, the cloud is right next to it, and Imrith is absolutely out of its mind. So first of all, on her turn, because legendary action, rather on your turn, I should say, the end of your turn, she is going to make a attack with her tail. What did you say, my boy? How are they fighting that dragon? Very carefully. That's how they're fighting that dragon. 18 on you, Urush?
Yes.
I'm actually playing the dragon. I'm not fighting the dragon. I am being the dragon for this one. Okay, so you're going to get hit by it, and they are fighting it. 22 points of damage, bludgeoning, so that's 11. As you get slammed in the face. Okay. Right. Okay, so we've got that. That's going your turn. That's right. That's not. They don't play the dragon, but after my turn, they go, and then it's one of their turns. So first, it's going to be her. The dragon is going to go. So she again roars in just anger, and basically is trying to turn around. You don't want to hear that? Okay.
What was that?
That's a giant who's working with the other one to help push the dragon in. Okay. Yeah, that's true. Actually, they're fighting recklessly, not carelessly. Yeah, you make a good point. I should have realized that. Okay, she is again going to try to hit with her tail. Because
you cannot hit her tail.
that is a 20, not natural to hit.
Don't hit
Yes.
her tail.
Okay.
Don't hit that giant.
8, 7. Okay, so that's another 17 points of damage, which I guess will be reduced to
Dad,
9.
Don't hit that
Yep.
giant.
I will keep that in mind, my boy.
Yes. Don't hit that giant.
Don't hit that giant.
Don't hit either of those giants.
Oh, it does, however, her tail does hit Hecaton as well, who does not have the benefit that you have of the having the rage. He looks very hurt, Hecaton. I mean, he looked hurt when he got down here, and he looks like he's barely holding it together. And
That
his
giant will push the volume
that's what he's
down.
doing. That's right. So, and his teeth are gritted, and he looks at you. So you're side by side with him, Urush, and as he kind of looks over at you, he says, "It's not likely either of us make it out of here."
I will turn to Hecaton, and I will give him a sly wink, and I will say, "It's not likely I will make it out of here. You should back off. You're far more important to the kingdom."
And he says, "If I don't do this, I was never important at all." And he
Why did he do that?
pushes down. That's a good question. Why do you do that? Because he's a brave giant. And he pushes forward, and she pitches forward her head into the cloud. Now, when the head pitches forward into the cloud, something very odd happens.
Is her whole body going in the
Her whole
cloud?
body is going to go into the cloud. Well, her head first. So the
That's
cloud begins to grow and begins to basically, how do I say it, wrap around essentially the dragon's neck and pull backwards. And she roars in pain and breathes something, and the lightning cloud is electrified. That's probably not great news for anyone in the range of the cloud, and that includes you, Selsig. This lightning cloud is going to hit
This
you.
is soft.
It is soft, that's right. And let's see. Selsig, you are going to take another 20 points of damage as you're lying there. I don't think you're dead yet, but you're awfully close.
Stop hitting me! I'm already dead.
Yeah, he's already dead. So that happens, and then the entire body, as the cloud sort of infuses it, you can see the lightning is working its way back towards you. Now, I point this out, Urash, because for both you and Hecaton, she is still trying to pull herself out of this cloud, which is wrapped around her and trying to pull her forward. So the lightning, which has infused the cloud and thus infused her, is sparkling and crackling along her body, heading in your direction. So you have a decision you're going to have to make, and I'm not going to make you make it right now, but you're going to have to decide this next turn. The lightning that's heading towards you is going to hit you if you keep purchase of the if you keep purchase of her body, if you stay in contact with her. If you step away from her, you won't have to worry about being shocked by the electricity, but it means you also won't be pushing her anymore. So you're going to have to make a decision, both you and Hecaton will, about whether they're going to back off or whether you're going to keep pushing. And
could you do me a favor? Could you update the position of all of the tokens in regards to where we are currently?
yeah,
Because I
so
think
like,
are we like physically pushing her?
yes, like
and
there.
her head is just okay. And what's my movement? Is it my normal movement doubled?
Your normal movement would be that and a half. So it was, if your normal movement is like
It's
30,
60.
is 60.
So how far away is Selsig?
Celsig is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, no. About 75 feet, roughly.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, so that's what Imrith does. That leads us to Hecaton. Hecaton sort of grins at you and, sets his shoulder and pushes even harder. So he's obviously made his decision about what he's going to do. Meanwhile, up top, these ones, the one that's fighting this gargoyle up here, is going to hit once, but that probably will be enough because that other gargoyle is really dead. Yeah, so this one is gone now. Are you heading back down?
Why isn't it back up?
Oh, because this is the other part of the fight. Meanwhile, on the upper level, they're fighting these gargoyles, see? Okay, and then they're going to hit this. That's actually a critical hit on this one. The one that's fighting you, Greta, looks very hurt now because the giant behind you, the giant bro, just slammed into it. So very hurt. It's not destroyed yet, though. Okay. Bye-bye, my boy. Thank you for telling me. Be careful on the way down, okay? Let's see. So, good boy. All right, and then the other one here is going to hit that one. So that one's fairly hurt because, well, medium hurt. Let's say this one here. Okay, that takes care of the giants, and that's going to lead us up to Greta. So, Greta, you see Kalismana and River have just landed on the edge of this hole, and are looking down. You've got the gargoyle in front of you, which looks extremely hurt. The one behind with the sphere on it looks, pretty hurt. And then you've got the ones up to the left fighting, and there's still a bunch of gargoyles over on that trebuchet.
I shout over to River, "What do you see?"
Tail! And Hecaton! They're pushing! Oh, I guess now I see Urash now too, right? Because they're both together.
That's true, you would actually, yes.
Okay. I see Urash and Hecaton! They're pushing on a tail!
I will internally assume that it must be the tail of the big dragon, because what other tail
The
went
Tarrasque!
into that
Did I
hole?
mention there was a Tarrasque down here?
Okay, I use a bonus action to move the flaming sphere into the gargoyle that is in front of me.
Okay. Yeah, Miranda, exactly. They're what? Like that is exactly how the reaction would be. They're pushing what? Okay. All right. So you're going to move the sphere.
Yes.
What's the movement on the sphere?
30 feet.
30?
So just from one gargoyle to the other.
Yeah,
please.
yeah. You're right. I will
And,
accept that. So go ahead and roll your damage. It does slam into him.
Okay, ram the sphere. Saving throw against the sphere's damage is a dexterity throw against the 15 in this case.
Okay.
And it's 2d6 only. I'm really sorry, but this is all I got.
It's damage.
Does not
damage,
make it
damage.
save.
Well, 4 damage. Does it go down finally? Because he was already looking so bad after I hit him last time.
But
I needed my action this turn.
He was looking really bad. That's not quite enough though. He looks like a stiff breeze would knock him over at this point, but 4 points is not enough.
Can I take
Kick him
the
in the
attack of
shins.
opportunity and run into the hole?
So here's the problem. The thing in front of you is blocking your way because you are a giant. And so the thing is you'd have to push it backwards. I would say
That would use up my action, and I need my action.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I step over it? I mean, if I'm giant size, like, whoop.
Well, it's not. No. It's blocking you because it too. I mean, you're giant and it's big. I guess you could try. This is very, very stretching, but you could try to jump over it. Now, to do that, I have to warn you, you're going to be jumping over at a disadvantage. This is not
Yes, of
set up for a
course.
dwarf giant in armor. Like, this is not set up at all. But I will give you the opportunity to try to make that jump. It will also engender an attack of opportunity, but if you make the jump, then I will allow you to continue your run towards the hole.
Okay,
So-
let's jump over a gargoyle. I haven't done this today, so...
I haven't done this today. It's been a while since I've jumped over
what
a
would you
gargoyle.
like? Maybe dexterity for this?
That
or
is
it
exactly what I'm looking for, is
I
dexterity.
thought so for some reason. I don't even know why. Okay, let's do a dexterity thing.
Do a dex.
18
Uh,
and 5.
yeah.
It's looking so good for a
When I
moment.
saw the 18, I'm like, oh, and 5, I'm like, you're like, and you just sort of bump into it, basically.
Yeah,
the gargoyle.
And there goes my movement. Well, then I still have my action, and I will hit it in the face.
Exactly, Trivet. Yay! Oh. Okay.
Okay, then I'll.
I'm doing
just-
it. I'm not doing it.
I'm flying. I'm not flying.
For
Okay.
a moment, I had control of the situation, so I'll just hit
I'm
the
falling
gargoyle.
with style.
Okay.
I'll just hit the gargoyle in the face then.
Sounds good.
At least that.
A sound.
There we
plan.
go. Angry at the
Sound
gargoyle.
That is a hit. Although there should be a 24,
I-
actually, not a 17, but...
Yes, because I. But still, I did the thing.
And then you're 3 times your
So-
norm, so you're 3 times your dice. Yeah, it was 1d6 plus 3.
7.
So 3d6 plus 3. No, for the damage. It was, I looked at your sheet. It was
Oh, okay.
1d6 plus 3 bludgeoning, so in this case it would be 3d6 because giant.
Okay. I thought my mace does 1d6 plus strength, but I don't know.
Yeah, probably that's true. 3 would be your strength. I don't think you have more than a plus 3 on strength, I don't think.
I'm a giant.
Yeah, I know, but that's why you're getting, yes, that's why you're getting 3 times the die. That's why you're getting 3 dice instead of 1 die.
Okay,
It isn't accounted
14.
for.
for
Although
the
that's
damn
true, actually.
gargoyle.
That is actually true now that I think of it. That
Is it not?
the strength?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have a strength bonus. That's true. Yeah, so
Yes.
you would get the one.
Yeah, because I did
So
that
I-
on the
I-
ship fight 'cause
Regardless,
I could-
regardless, it's destroyed. Regardless, it was
Yeah.
already
Okay.
close
Well,
to death.
if it's.
Yeah,
Then
the coming
because
rounds,
then I
this
will
may be
just
important,
stomp on
though.
the pebbles for a moment, because that is the over.
Yes,
over-
the overkill. Yes, it's somewhere a cathedral in France weeps, softly at your destruction of it.
So
Wonderful.
the thing I did was I changed my strength on my actual sheet so that it changed the modifier, and therefore changed the modifier on all my attacks. So I didn't need to worry.
Well, that
too
was a
much
smart
about
thing
that.
to
I
do.
don't know. Thanks. I do it occasionally.
I also did this now. There we go.
Yeah. It's because
was
I knew
actually
I'd
good.
forget.
When you have these good ideas, why don't you tell other people who might not have them?
I just assume everyone has better ideas than me. That's
Okay,
Yeah, we
so
will talk
that
about
was
it.
your attempt to
Yeah.
move, which failed, but you did hit it in the face and destroyed it. So that's that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then I use action, bonus action, and my move action to with the gargoyle. So that's it for me.
Okay, that leads us to the gargoyles. First of all, the 2 up here. Yeah, the 2 up here finally bring down this giant who was looking bad for a while. The one down here has got a lot of problems. It's got a flaming sphere. It's probably going to move out of the way of the flaming sphere and stay engaged with this giant, I think. So it's going to, because it doesn't get an attack opportunity from the sphere. So it's going to move this way, and it's going to try to attack it. We'll hit once.
I'll use my reaction for a warding flare, so it attacks at disadvantage.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, well, it had a 21 and a 19 were the 2 attacks that it had. So
Oh, well,
we'll
it was
take the
worth a
19.
try.
It was a good try, though. It's not going to kill the thing. This giant over here is looking pretty rough though now. Okay, and now we of course have the gargoyles that are manning the trebuchet, and they are. Guess who they're going to fire at? One more time, River. The Talismana has been the subject of the trebuchet's ire from the very beginning, and it's going to miss again. I'm pretty sure that's like a 9. So that is a miss. This thing cannot. When it has hit Talismana, it's done a lot of damage, but it has not hit much. Okay, that brings us up to Selsig and your second death save, Selsig. Again, you need to. I would recommend a 20 here. No, this would be great.
That would be very nice.
Brilliant. That would be.
Or at the very least, not a 1.
Yeah, that would be yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Everything's crossed for you, brother. Everything's crossed for you.
Oh, it's right there. Oh man. Okay, that is one failure. It was right next to the 20 though. All right.
It did the opposite, Tito,
Yep.
from last time.
Yep.
It did, yeah.
The gods of the dice taketh and giveth and taketh away. All right, 1 success, 1 failure. All right. That brings us up to River with Talismana. All right, River. So Talismana is there. You're looking down in the hole. What do you want to do?
I would like to. Well, okay. I would like to, but the DM has ruling on this.
Okay.
Jump down the hole. Hover though. We're hovering.
Okay.
And then try to breath weapon right for Imris central mass between the friends. In order to try and like, ugh, so that way they can let go and she gets eaten by the thing.
So, okay. So the thing is, they are back to back pushing against a flailing thing. I don't think you're going to be able to coordinate the breath that well. But what I will do is I will give you a chance. You can go down and you can do that. I'm going to give them saves, but they're going to be at disadvantage to avoid it. So if they get hit by it, they get hit by it. But you can't get a clean shot on a flailing dragon underneath the ground while hovering between two people trying to push her into a cloud.
Yeah, I wasn't super clear on how tall the chasm was, so if I could just like kind of go in over there.
No, I see what you're doing. It's a good call.
Yeah.
It's just that the problem is that what you're aiming at, the central mass, is behind the, let's remember, giant forms of
right.
That's the problem.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Your
Okay.
idea is a good idea. I highly
what
approve. I just,
If I yell first, try and get him out of the way.
If you yell, I will allow them to do the check in the first place, since they have no idea, right?
Yeah,
They're
that's
focused on it.
So okay, well I yell before doing.
Okay.
Well, actually, wait, hang on a second. Let me undo what I'm thinking because she's a lightning dragon and I have lightning breath. That's not gonna work.
True. These are true facts.
That's not gonna work. And the other thing that I can do
what
is
does River
push my
have?
friends, and I don't want to push them because that's
Well,
about
you
River's
push your
breath?
friends pushing the dragon. Like
well-
it's like a reverse tug of war where the entire party is just pushing the dragon into the thing.
Push
about
me,
River?
shove you.
Yeah, what
Okay,
spells does
okay.
River have?
I-
What could River cast from the back of the dragon?
I'm not allowed.
Maybe
to
something-
cast
Not
from
allowed
the
to
back
do
of
that
the
unless she
dragon.
gets off the dragon, which she could do.
I could do. I could get down and cast something, but I had a plan B actually. So
Okay.
plan B was again fly down, hover,
Okay.
but hover much closer in order to try and mage hand Selsig out of the way.
Except Mage Hand is not going to be able to do that. Mage
It won't do
Hand
that
can.
because I thought because he was smaller that it would work.
He's not that small. If we take a look at Mage Hand.
Because I have Mage Hand too. It's basically like potion-sized or smaller.
It says 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Shoot, I
Yeah.
saw 30 feet, and I was like, I mean, he's a halfling. 30,
Sounds
30
like-
pounds,
like-
that should be like.
I
right.
appreciate
Hello,
the
I play your little Selsig. Like, just like
Do we
The
have a
potion has had the
potion of
reverse
shrinking
effect.
you could throw at me?
right. This
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
thing is an Alice in Wonderland thing, right? Like,
I have a lot of potions and stuff, but not that one. No. Shoot. I didn't have a plan C. I guess we could jump down the hole, and I could jump off of the dragon and do
I
something.
mean, I've seen you make the ground slippy before. Just saying.
I can. If I
Yeah.
jump off the dragon, I can make things very slick. That is a thing I can do. Unfortunately, it doesn't care about friendly fire. So that's the issue.
And
here.
neither do we.
Yeah, well, I'd like for you to care. I would love if you cared. All right, well, okay. So either way, no matter what I'm doing, I'm coming down here. It's here, right? That's where I fall in.
that's right.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, well, I can at least, like, jump off right near where I'm useful. And
Right.
then,
Sorry. Are you? So Kalamana is like. Okay, I see. So you're putting in.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So now I'm here. And then from there, is that like my turn getting off, or do I?
No, yeah, I would say that you still have an action left. You don't have any move
Okay.
left, so whatever
Yeah,
you do
no more
is gonna.
move, but
Yeah.
I can do an ice storm.
Oh.
And then I'll do that, trying really hard to just get like Imris front legs, so that way it doesn't get my buddies as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me make sure. I don't remember how big Ice Storm is. It is 20-foot radius, 40-foot high cylinder. Okay, so then yeah, I can do that. I can just get like her front end without worrying about. Okay, so yeah, let's do that.
Do you want to draw that up? Can you, or do you want me to do
Can
it?
I? Let's see. Oh, I can. Okay, so we'll do something. Hang on. 40-foot high cylinder. Ugh. Holding the baby like that, ish. I can't.
Okay,
I should have put on my glasses. I think it's a little too big, but something like that.
Okay, so I'm just kind of moving it slightly, so like around there. or
Yeah,
something
like right
that.
around there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. How much damage does that do?
It does. Let's see. Each creature in the cylinder must succeed a Dex saving throw, otherwise take 2d8 bludgeoning and 4d6 cold. On a failed save, or half as much on a successful
She
one.
does not make her dex saving throw. So go ahead and roll your damage for that hit on the ice storm. Okay.
Hey, baby, you're very helpful. So 23.
Okay. 23, and that was how? And I'm sorry, what did that was?
2d8 bludgeoning. So the top one is bludgeoning, 10, and then 13 is the cold.
Okay. Let's see. And does it take half on a success, or does it, or
yes,
not?
It was
Okay.
half on a success.
Because I forgot that the dragon also has legendary resistance, so it can, if it fails a saving throw, can choose to succeed instead. It just has like, a certain number of times a day it can do that.
Yeah.
So it will take about half of that, which is about 12 or 11 actually. All right. Takes that. It doesn't like it.
And now the floor is slick.
Now the
because it's
floor is
icy.
slick. That's true. That's a very good point. Okay. So good stuff there out of River and Kalamana. All right. That leads us to you, Urash. So you have a decision to make, and it is true that the floor is now slick, which means that she's having trouble finding purchase on the ground. But you have, again, the lightning is curling up her body.
Yes. So, do I now know that River has descended into the hole?
I would say so because because she yelled, Kalamana yelled. I would say so, yes.
Yep. Okay. Cool. So I'm going to turn to Hekaton and actually, let me ask you something. If this is a possibility, I want to get Celsic out of there as soon as possible. I want to move and pick Celsic up and move more. Now, I'm a giant and he's a normal-sized person. If I move normally, I'll just reach him. If I double move, would I be able to scoop him up and then move away from the cloud?
10, 20, 30. How much again is your movement?
40. So it would be 60 as a giant.
Right, so 10, 20, 30.
So 60 normal move, 120 sprinting or double move.
I would say, so here's what I would say. Yes, I think you can pick him up as you go. Essentially, it's almost like you're charging, so you can actually pick him up.
Yeah, pretty much.
The problem is, though, if you're going to do that, you're going to be in this cloud. There is no way to get to him without hitting the edge of the cloud. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem at all.
Okay.
So basically, I'm going to turn to Hekaton and River, and I'm going to say, I have to get Celsic out of there. And I'm just going to run. I'm just going to run through, basically around the back of Hekaton. So if I draw essentially a line where I'm going to go, in theory, I just kind of want to do that towards him. But I'm aware that I'll get straight between Hekaton and Imrith there. Now, if that's not a problem, that's cool.
Yep, you can do that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I want to do
I
that.
think you can do that. You're
So
going to be
how
underneath the wing and like
far-
whatever, but that's
Yeah, that's fine. So that's
Oh,
10,
but
20.
no, that's fine. That's fine. Never mind. I was going to say the ice storm, but that's more localized. Yeah, that's fine. Yes, you can do that.
Yeah, and then presumably by like, let me just get my ping back. By like this point, I'll know where the ice storm is on the floor,
Right.
Because it's not all concealed by cloud.
No.
So I'd be able to, even if I needed to just kind of dodge out of the way a little bit,
Mhm.
I'd be able to do that.
Yeah, and
so
this
when I
is
get
actually
to
the
there,
flat ground, so yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, when I get to there, so that is what, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. And then I want to kind of go 110, 120. And I want to try and drop Celsig about there.
Okay.
behind
So
the pillar.
at this spot, so you can do that. When you get to this spot here, is where
Yep.
you're going to need. We're gonna have a discussion, you and I. So
Yep.
so go ahead and move your character up to here. All right. When you get to this place, this cloud does two things. First of all, it is electrified, as I've previously described, and also it is whatever the hell it is on its own. You feel, the best way to describe it would be that you feel as if something is eating away at your flesh. It's not acidic. It's almost as if you feel your body rotting at the touch of this thing.
Oh.
And so it is going to do some damage, and then you're going to need to make a check to see if you can keep going to get Celsig. So let's see. All right, that is going to be 30 points of damage. Now, the 30 points of 30 points of damage plus 15 lightning. You can have
Okay.
the lightning. You cannot have
Right.
the 30 damage of whatever this other thing is. It is not
Yeah,
affected by rage.
Okay, it's not rage that does this. It's so. Let me just.
Oh yeah, well
bring
tell
this
me
up
what
real
does it
quick.
then. Let me make sure I know.
Yeah, sorry. Give me 2 seconds. It's my mammoth skin. So whilst raging, I have resistance to all damage except psychic damage. So if this is not halfable, then I know it's psychic damage. That includes necrotic.
Yeah, that includes necrotic.
Yeah.
All right, so then I guess it would be half. So let's say, so then all of it would be, what did I say, 45 total?
He said 45.
So it'd be
half would
20,
be like
22.
23.
Or 23,
22,
sorry.
23.
So 23, which means you're down to 22.
Yep, that's
Hanging in there.
absolutely fine.
Now I
mean,
need
it
you,
feels
though.
horrible.
Yeah, it's
but
awful. And I need you to make here a saving throw. But what I
Yep.
need you to make here is a wisdom saving throw, because the thing that
Oh,
is
Lord.
pulling you is something is crawling at your mind. It is
Mhm.
basically telling you to give up
Nope.
and to stop and do that. I think it was a check, not a saving throw. You just did.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I mean,
Yeah. Either way,
that's
right?
incredibly worse, but
So basically it tells you to give up. So what it does is the effect that it has on you is almost slowing you. It's as if, you know, and you hear these things that you don't even understand the language unless you understand, well, what language do you speak? We may have talked about this before.
I speak Orcish and Common.
Yeah, no, definitely not either one of those. So you hear something whispering, but the overall feeling is just of despair. So I would say that you get to Celsig, and you can pick him up, but it slows you enough. I don't think you're going to be able to move any further this turn.
Okay. What I would like to do is I would like to hold Celsig close to make sure that my body is shielding him from the cloud. Obviously, the cloud, I can't shield him from gas, but I'm just trying to basically hold him close so that if Imrith does anything, I take it, he doesn't. And also what I'm like to do is I'd like to just grab my symbol of Tempest and just repeat to myself that Tempest's might is within me and his glory will shine through my actions.
Okay. So you do that, and the cloud glitters, and your weapon glitters as well with power. Let's see, that was okay. On her legendary attack, she is going to try to make a tail attack on Hecaton. which is not that one. Which is going to be 20, yeah, that one. And then okay. All right. Hecaton like slips basically as the tail slams him in the face, blood everywhere. But still pushes as now the cloud is pulling while he pushes, and that means it is her turn. Now she tries to scrabble back, but first of all she's affected by the ice storm again, I believe. Is it at the beginning of the turn, I think, River, that the ice storm affects, or is it at the end? Like if they begin their turn in the effect, does it affect them then?
I am reading. Each creature in the cylinder must make a dexterity saving throw. It doesn't say anything about which end of the turn. Oh wait, there it is. Hailstone's turn storm areas into the effect difficult terrain until the end of my next turn.
Right.
The baby really wants her dinner. But yeah, it doesn't say anything about their turn.
Okay. Right. Okay, so then let's see. So it may not be affected by that one way or the other.
Yeah,
okay.
just isn't
So
till
it
the end
basically,
of
so
your
it
next
doesn't,
turn.
so it does not stay then. It does that damage, and then it's difficult terrain until the end of your next turn. Okay. Because the duration is instantaneous. So it just does that once, and it's going to be difficult terrain. Okay. So that's fine. So it's not going to take damage from that. Instead, she's just going to take damage from this death cloud thing, whatever it is, that is going to pull Imrith in. You also sort of hear this terrible crackling sound, Urash, and you're vaguely aware. I would say that maybe, River, you just vaguely sense this. You're vaguely aware, Urash, that this may be the actual scales of Imrith sort of ripping off and decaying as it's pulled inside this cloud. And so that's sort of the sound that you're hearing. And she roars again in anguish and pain. And she, as the cloud gets even bigger, I should say. And it is going to encompass you. So I'm going to talk about Imrith, and I'm going to talk about what the cloud does. So she reaches over and she swipes basically blindly. So she's going to make attacks on you, but it's disadvantaged because it's completely blind. So we've got a 21 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
On a disadvantage, and then the claw is 33
Just.
and 29.
Yeah, they all
man.
just make it.
Just slam, slam, slam. All right. Okay. So that's 18 slashing for the claw. Oh, sorry. No, yeah, 18 slashing for the 18 slashing for the first claw and 13 for the second, so 31 slashing for the claw and 21 for the bite, which is piercing damage. So it's 51. So 51 halved is what we're looking at. So that's 25?
So 25, so that would drop me down to 1 because of Relentless Endurance.
Relentless
So I
Endurance,
basically drop to 1 knee, I take a deep breath, grasp Tempest's symbol, otherwise I'd be at like -5.
Yep.
And then pick myself back up through gritted teeth and a very, very bloody face.
Yeah. So, so she does that, and that leads us to we have to deal with the cloud. So now the cloud's effect goes off. So the cloud now is going to cover.
More blood than orc at the minute.
Yep, exactly. Grown enough that it now covers you over. So not completely, but at least much of your body. So the two of you. Well, let me see. You said you were shielding him. I'm going to say that you do. I'm going to say that you do shield. Wait, I'm sorry. What?
Greta's got that mark as well.
Yes.
Oh,
the
that's
Death
right.
Ward. The Death Ward.
The Death
Did you
Ward.
Death Ward Urash start going into this?
Yes, Urash is
You
Death
did.
Ward.
You did. You did.
Yeah, so
So maybe
the
that
next
one is
time he goes
relentless
down to
endurance is
0.
still there. Yeah, I was gonna say.
yeah, so
I was
what
just
I'll
gonna
do
say.
is I'll do the. I'd forgotten about the Death Ward completely, so thank you for that. I actually think it's in my notes, to be honest with you. Yeah, no, it is. You currently have
Yep,
Death Ward.
that's hugely important, and here's why. Because you're going to take right now 20 points of damage, or you would normally, but because of your relentless endurance, you will stay up, and you also protect Selsig from the effects of that. So you're actually holding on to him, and I want chat to know the visual of this cloud, lightning and necrotic, dragging him around him while he's stumbling around, cradling Selsig within his powerful, body. Although it's
just
very clear.
ripping flesh off my back.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah, as this thing
because I'm
is-
unarmored.
Yep. Yep. And Hecaton now has a chance to go. And Hecaton, no, only River sees this, I think, because Urash is a little otherwise occupied and Selsig's unconscious. So Hecaton and Greta's upstairs. So Hecaton backs up and he says, "One last time. Into the breach, then, filth." And throwing himself forward, heedless of the tail which slams against him, the legs which kick against him, the claws ripping his body, he pushes with all of his might, literally like a missile, impacts him into her tail. The spike embeds in his body, and he's just, as he hits it, and the dragon slides the rest of the way into the cloud. There is a terrible tearing, shrieking, screaming noise as the sound becomes so loud that you can't even keep it out of your head, Urash, as this like whispering comes. Hecaton is dragged in on the dragon's tail with it. And River, you just see them all being, being dragged in there. You see the cloud kind of growing in power. And then on the top floor, Greta, you hear a unusual sound. It's a sound that you think you've heard before, but it's been a while, and certainly not in this context. I need you to make a perception check for me, please. Okay.
I'm still busy.
You're still busy. You don't know the specifics, but it sounds like some cry, the cry of some animal. And looking up, one of the giants kind of wearily points. I'm really trying to resist saying the eagles are coming. Instead, you don't get that. But you do get something else. As coming down from the sky, you see two things. First is because you kind of see that, they're yelling and pointing, so you can like look over your shoulder. And you see, first of all, what is left of the griffins from Zephyros' tower are flying down, and underneath them, holding on to them, it takes 3 of them to do this, is Zephyros himself. Fire and lightning sort of is in his hand and in his arm and in his weapon. And as he comes close, the trebuchet fires, and Zephyros just reaches out, and an enormous fireball erupts and just on the trebuchet, and does that. And he then lands on the ground somewhat unsteadily. Where's my giant? Give me another giant here. He lands there and looks at you as the other giants sort of smash this gargoyle. It was their turn. And he yells over to you, "Greta, where are the rest?"
In the hole with Imrith.
And he kind of like looks at you, turns around, and jumps right in the middle of the hole like everybody else does. And lands here and points over and says, and sees you, River, and Kalismana, and he says, "They must get out. Now they must come out. You cannot contain this." And he jumps forward and lifts his hands, and a shimmering begins to appear around the cloud. All right. That's going to bring us to Greta. So you saw all this happen and heard all this happen, and you now have, relatively speaking, an open shot to that hole. What do you want to do?
I dropped the flaming sphere. That's just
You just
doesn't
let
cost
it
me an
go.
action.
Okay.
Yep. I just stop concentrating.
Okay, got it.
And jump into the hole.
Okay.
Apparently everybody's in the hole, and I did
67.
no, and I didn't hear what was said. So
All the cool kids are
apparently,
doing it. Jump in the
apparently
hole.
in the hole is where we all should go. So I'll now go
Yeah.
into the hole.
Okay. All right. So I think you've got 70 feet to get there. Which should
Barely. I can just like tumble
get
over the
there.
edges.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have
exactly,
my speed
exactly.
is-
Exactly. So go ahead
Which
and
is-
place yourself here, Greta, please.
Which is kind of what my dexterity would cause anyway. So could you just stop pinging? Then I can move. Okay. Because it always switches me up now and again. Okay. So I go like into the hole.
Okay. So you land there, and you see, before you the image of Zephyros trying to do whatever he's doing with this cloud.
10,
You
11,
see
12.
you see what's left of you see some part of Imrit's body consumed by this cloud or something. And you see, I don't know if you do see actually, maybe just barely, a little bit of a large gray-skinned figure standing alone surrounded by the cloud. And you also see Talisman and River.
I will assume that all of this is Imroth's fault.
Okay.
Fair assumption.
Who else should have done this?
Even on
okay,
our worst day, we couldn't do this.
I have this is 60 feet. This is done. This is done. Is Imroth still alive?
Who knows?
From what I see.
It's the cloud. Whatever's happening in there to Emrith and whatever else is in the cloud is very bad. This cloud is bad.
Oh, yeah. I've double moved. I'm out of things.
Yep.
I think there's nothing. I cantrip bonus action. Yeah, I could do a bonus action if I had something that
It's
I
true, you
could do a
could.
bonus action with.
Or you could just look at River and say, "I'm glad that you're here with me here at the end of all things, River." And you won't get that because someone here hasn't seen hasn't read Lord of the Rings. So
Yeah, but I still know that I can be here with a friend.
it's true. Okay.
Nope, I got nothing.
Okay.
But I'm down in the hole finally.
Down in the hole. You've arrived. Okay. Meanwhile, up top, these gargoyles are going to make their way this way. Although, yeah, no, they would be still. So they're going to make their way this way towards the giants. The trebuchet and these gargoyles are just, sir, not appearing in this picture. They are gone after that incredible fireball. All right, we're going to X that out too. All right, so the trebuchet is gone. So it's just those two gargoyles are all that is left of the once proud force of gargoyles. Okay. Alrighty. And that is going to bring us back up to the top. Selsig, I need you to make a saving throw here. And I would highly recommend you not double fail. A crit miss would be bad.
On the bright side, if I do roll a 1, I get to re-roll it because
true.
halfling.
Even
But
on
only
saving
one.
throws, right?
Halfling.
Even on saving throws?
Saving throws,
Okay.
ability checks, attack rolls. Still, though, can't re-roll that.
Nope. 2 failures. Seems reasonable
I'm
under the
bleeding
circumstances. Okay, River and Kalismana. So, River, you were off Kalismana. You're right there. I don't know if you heard what I said, but so basically Zephyros is down there, is doing something, has told you they get them out of there, and is doing something to that magic, to that cloud, whatever it is. And Selsig and Urash are still there, somewhat surrounded by that cloud. And Kalismana and you are both functional, and you did hear Greta making land behind you. So Greta is now down here in the hole.
Okay, well, I turned to Kalismana. Can we go get them?
And
We go into that and get them.
Kalismana says, "We'll do whatever we can. It'll have to be fast, though."
Then let's do it fast.
So if you leap onto him, 10, 20,
Yep.
30, 40, 50, 60,
Oh,
60.
oops, I'm drawing. I didn't mean to draw. I want to draw. Drawing is silly.
20, 30, 40, 50, 60,
Oh no, and then I deleted myself. Okay, well that's cool.
Drawing is not
Can you
silly.
just
Drawing
Control
is
Z.
great.
Control Z.
Nope.
Control Z.
does-
Undo.
You're lying to me. Control Z does nothing.
What? It undoes?
Yeah, it does nothing.
Shoot. I
It's
don't even-
okay. No, just I am Kalismana. I'm the dragon.
You are Kalismana. Okay.
Cool.
So here's the deal. Same thing that I said to Urash. Given the sort of diameter of the cloud, you can get to him on a single move if you are willing to be touched by the cloud.
Ew. I mean, at least it's asking first, so that's fine. Yeah, we'll get there.
Well,
Okay, we'll get there. The problem is one of them is still giant sized, so it'll be kind of hard to drag them out, but we'll do our best.
yeah. Well, actually, I think
don't worry too much about
you
that.
would have returned to normal size at that point, actually, Urash,
Yeah, because you've had like
Oh,
two.
because of the
Wow.
Death Ward.
before you finished.
Not the Relentless Endurance, but I think Death Ward would have basically been like, as Saber said, with the mushroom and everything.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So, I actually think that'll work in your favor a little bit.
Okay,
Where?
well-
How do we resize? There we go.
I just put it over there. Whoops, sorry.
Cool.
Cloud. Okay, so you're there, and Kalismana is going to take 30 points of damage. It is necrotic damage. So, okay, you are there, and you see a barely standing Urash and a not at all standing Selsig.
Okay. Let's see. I have 2 health potions.
Okay, you have to make a call, which is, do you want them? I mean, you get them out, because otherwise they're just gonna. I mean, so you have to decide. Like, get them out now. If you give them a health potion, that's gonna be an action.
I just basically, you hear me in a very gargly voice say, "Just get him out of here," and I'm kind of handing you Selsig.
Yeah. Okay. So we grab both.
Kalismana's
dragon,
like,
we can
none of
do
that
this."
nonsense. Basically.
So yeah, two dragon grabs and then scoochies.
Okay. Scoochies. Okay. So you pull them both out. Now they're on you now, and you can they're sort of out of the cloud, although it's probably going to grow again because it's just billowing out of this pit, unless whatever Zephyros is doing has an effect. But you won't be able to leave until next turn because you had to get there and then grab them and grab them. But you don't have enough to be able to grab and then move out. You can only
Yeah,
move
I
two
can't grab and
two.
move, and I can't do anything while on his back.
Yeah.
So we'll just hope that next time it's another 30 because we'll be okay.
Yeah, right? Let's hope so. Okay. That was that. That leads us to Urash. So, Urash, on your turn, you have 1 hit point left. You can decide what you want to do if you wish. You're on the back of the dragon now. Of Kalismana, I mean, that dragon. The good dragon.
Yeah, there's very little. Yeah, the good dragon. This dragon's a lot calmer than the last dragon I wrote.
Yes.
There is nothing I could do at this point in time. I'd like to know more about how the cloud is looking. More specifically, what Zephyros is kind of doing to it. Like, does it look like it's contained, or is it still very much a billowing cloud?
Make a perception check for me, please.
Okay. That's a crit.
Wow. You see all the ones and zeros in the cloud.
Pain is a very good motivator.
Yeah, you're just like, it really focuses the mind. What you can see is that it does look indeed as if Zephyros is performing an incredible feat of wizardry and appears to be containing, at least slowing down the billowing of this cloud. The reason you had to do a perception check is because it's not like you see a field around it, but the clouds are billowing back as if they're bumping up against an invisible wall. But you can also see that the strain on Zephyros is enormous.
And can I see anything of Hecaton at this point?
No.
Okay.
Something except the horrible rending and tearing sounds of flesh happening within that cloud.
Okay. Then there is nothing I can do at this point other than try and make sure I don't drop Selsig.
Okay. And that's going to lead us to...
Oh, actually, I would like to just say something. So I'm going to make sure I'm holding on to Selsig. I'm going to kind of grab River by the shoulder, and I'm going to thank her a lot for coming to get us. And I'm going to sort of look down at the unconscious Selsig and go, all right, my trickster friend, let's get you out of here.
Okay. And that's going to lead us to Imrith. There is a, again, terrible rending and shrieking sound. And then shooting out from the cloud, fortunately up, not over, is a stream of lightning breath. I hate to make this reference, but it just fits so perfectly. If anyone happens to have watched Man of Steel, first of all, I'm sorry. No, it's not actually as bad as some people think, but still. There's a scene at the end where Superman's got Zod, and Zod is using his heat vision, and the heat vision is basically just like cutting through the end of a building. That's what it looks like with this beam. The beam is just cutting up over in the room, and pillars are starting to collapse, and things are shaking, and all of this as the breath is shooting out, and then there is a horrible croaking, and then nothing more from Imrith, and the breath ceases. That brings us to the giants, and so the giants, these ones are going to go, I guess they're going to go deal with the 2 remaining gargoyles. So this one's going to leap up here, and this one's going to leap up here, and the only other giant that we've got is the one downstairs, and that is Zephyros, who uses all of his strength. Sweat is just pouring down his face, and he says, "Get them out of there! Get them out of there!" He's presumably yelling to you, River / Kalismana / Greta / whoever, and that is going to bring us up to the aforementioned Greta.
Okay, so we've got a Hecaton that is still alive. We've got a Sephiroth that is standing there.
Not clear that Hecaton's alive. Hecaton was dragged in on the tail of the dragon. This one that you're seeing right there is Zephyros.
Where is Hecaton?
Hecaton is
Hecaton's
impaled on the tail of the dragon, which he did to push him into the cloud. Push her into the cloud, sorry.
Well, that is awkward. Well, that is awkward. This is not good. We can't, like, exchange one death giant for another death giant, especially if they're married. So I don't have the anti-death cloud spell with me is the problem. But I'm still giant-sized, right?
You are still giant size.
We need to get... I mean, apparently River has taken care of the other 2, so I need to take care of Hecaton. Because we can't just... we've been on this for years. Rescue Hecaton and restore the ordering.
That's not the same as taking care of us. Just saying.
Yeah, taken care of is a relative term, I would say.
Yeah, still. But the thing is, we've been doing this for years to save Hecaton and restore the ordering. If we now lose him, like on the last session, that is just stupid. We can't have this. I'll run in and we'll try to drag Hecaton out.
All right. So, let's see. Can you get there, though?
I don't know, but I need to try. But
Okay.
I mean, what try? We just did all the things to save the damn guy. You just can't now go in there. This is not okay.
I guess you could make an argument that this time he goes on his own terms, not someone else's, but I know what you mean. Okay, so your running speed, I think we said you could go 60. Was that right?
I have 25 usually.
If you double, so 20, so that means you would have basically 40, 10, 20, 30, 40. If you double move, you'd only really get here, because these are 10-foot squares.
Do you have anything that makes me faster?
Or do you have a lasso? Like,
Is there one still on the floor?
I don't think so. The one that you had was on the neck of Imrith and was dragged into the cloud.
would
I
there
mean, I
be
love
any
epic
kind of
moments. Don't get me wrong, but I think that's a little bit of a stretch.
but it's really stupid to lose him now. It's like,
I really don't think there's going to be a lot we can do for him at this stage.
yes, but still, this is and would need to get another diamond and to get another scroll of restoration. This is not gonna work out.
Oh, I don't think there's going to be anything left to restore.
Didn't make this better.
Not helping.
Would there be
Not
any
sorry.
kind of ability check I could make to maybe lunge forward and grab his foot or something?
Lunge forward.
I don't know. I'm just asking. I've never been one for movement a lot.
I mean, if you... No, because even a charge would be basically for an attack. No, I don't see how, unless there's something you have, like if you have a haste potion sitting around, or
Nope.
I don't see it. I don't
Like
know
you would let me lasso him?
well,
you
if
said?
you had a rope, you could try.
I do have a rope.
Yeah, I mean, so the question is the range, because you can't double move and do that. So you would have to
Yeah.
go up to say here.
Yeah.
And that means 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 89. So you'd have to lasso from 90 feet away into a electric necrotic cloud. I mean, you know, I mean, look, We've done
weird
crazier
stuff.
things.
Maybe this is the time that I get my 20. You never know.
That's true. All right, go for it. If you want to do that, you can do that. So go ahead and run forward to about here-ish.
This reminds me of Justice trying to talk to the wolves.
Lone Wolf says, "Ground yourself."
You're in the death cloud. You know. This is this is okay. I don't get to do a spell before this, right?
No.
No, this is just okay. I will now try to lasso a giant out of a death cloud because
The
we
power
haven't done
of
this today.
dexterity compels you. This is going
Oh,
to be
it's a dexterity
check.
thing.
Yes, it is dexterity.
Why?
thing. Unless you're proficient in lasso. Assuming you're not, then I'm going to say it's a dexterity thing. It's not a matter of your strength getting it there. It's a
Surprising,
matter of whether you can organize, whether you could. If you ever try, because I have. If you've ever tried to use a lasso, those things are
I
a
have.
pain in the ass to actually, especially from a distance, in a cloud.
I did circus shows as a child. I did
Oh,
lasso.
see? Well, all right then. If this were
Yes,
only
so-
you, it would be easier.
Yeah, this is. Oh, okay. Here we go. Come on. Nine?
Lone Wolf was inspired Greta.
Oh, Lone Wolf has
I've
inspired
inspired?
Greta.
Okay.
Yo, well, fortunately,
Here we go.
Lone Wolf does have one. All right. All right.
Okay.
What's it gonna be?
Okay, Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf, thank you. Come on, get the giant out. Get the giant. 18, damn it.
Yes, you get the rope around his arm, basically.
Yeah,
what's
there
left
we
of it.
go. Thank you, Lone Wolf. We're saving Hackathon now because of you. Maybe.
Maybe.
Or we're
Okay.
losing a cleric because of you.
Okay.
I'm still
so,
at least 2 checks away from safety myself.
Yeah. All right. That
Oh, I
is.
can easily save you. The problem is the giant.
He's like,
No, if I fail one more saving throw, you can't.
let's see. Okay, so that was all right. So you did that. So you now have a hold of him. You can't obviously pull him back after you did all that yet. I mean, you have to wait till next turn to do that. That is going to bring us down to the gargoyles, the ones that are left, which will come down here the rest of the way. They will engage this one that's right ahead of them. It's one hit. Okay. This one's already pretty hurt, so we got hurt a little more. Okay, that brings us up to Celsig. Celsig, all right, just call out for the inspirations if needed, Echo. I'm going to say Celsig might want an inspiration on this one.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
It's 50-50 if I
So is anyone...
die this turn or survive to die another turn.
Yeah, Saber could use one, Echo. Are you inspiring him on this? As I put all these notes that I have to go back to my channel to do later on.
Inspired.
Consider
Thank you.
Darksaber 2K inspired. Okay.
All right then.
Oh, excellent.
Not looking. Oh no. Crit.
Wow.
A crit.
Wow.
X5 for the win.
And it was on an advantage too. Wow. All right. Well, guess what? That crit hit that you get there, you're like, like, so you come back to 1 hit point because that's the way it works. So you are You look up to see you are on the back of a dragon. Everything hurts. You are next to Urash, who also looks like just a mess. There's this horrible crackling sound and hissing sound right near you. And you see River looking with some concern over you as well, I would say. That was ridiculous, actually, that just happened. Anyway.
The second you take that sharp intake of breath, I just sort of, I tap the side of your face and I go, there you are. I knew you wouldn't go far for long.
I knew it all
Did
along.
you get the number of that dragon?
Oh yeah, no, don't you worry. And I show you my forehead with like a massive dragon slash mark and the tooth mark down my shoulder.
Now, quick reminder, because you haven't had to go through this before, if you go down again, we're still in the same combat, so you'll start with 2 failures again and 1 success. So you're not out of the woods yet.
Okay.
But you're in a much better shape than you were. Now, I'll talk about what you do when we actually get to... Oh, no, that was you. That was your turn. So, yeah, so you're back. So you could... Technically, at this point, you could actually, like, take a turn. I mean, you can't really do a whole lot, but you could do something.
I've picked up a trick from Greta.
Okay.
It's just, who do I use it on at this point? It's a target-rich environment for this sort of spell.
Okay.
I want to cast Cure Wounds on Urash.
Okay.
Because I know that if he's in this state, I've seen him in this state a whole bunch, so he probably doesn't have a lot left in the tank.
Okay.
It's been fuller, I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, let me double check Cure Wounds, which, having seen Greta use this a few times, I feel fairly confident I may be able to surpass even myself and steal a spell casting technique.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay, so it's 1d8. I'm going to cast it at the 2nd level, actually. I still have a 2nd level slot. So that would be 2d8 plus spellcasting ability, which is... I just have to double check. Plus 6, so 2d8 plus 6 on Urash. Let me get that queued up.
Okay.
2d8 plus 6 on Urash.
Okay.
So I heal him for 9 points of damage.
All right.
Well, it's
listen.
a first attempt.
Yeah, I mean, not hail
Hey,
or hearty,
it's-
but listen.
Yeah, I'm better than I was.
Okay, River, Kalismana, it's your turn, so you can now... What do you want to do?
Does Kalismana not take damage?
Kalismana is going to... Oh, actually, that's true. Right at the beginning, yeah.
'Cause we're like.
Well, it's
hanging
going to be
out
the end.
loud.
Yeah, but it's the same. Yeah, that's true. So, let's make sure we get that.
I mean, or you could just forget conveniently and we
Yeah,
can wander
no,
on.
because I would have picked up later on. I appreciate you telling me now without having to retcon it later. 35 points of damage. So he is down to 6. And he says, "Could we please get out of here now?"
Yes, go! Stop standing
I
here.
need to leave. I need to leave.
So he is going to go, and give me a second. I'll pick up everybody else here if I can. Not that. I just want this. The cloud doesn't want to let you go. It's like, no. All right, I'm doing this so I can move that. Said no.
There you go. I'll move mine
Thank
next
you very
to
much.
Celtic.
Thank you. All right. Because that way I can move these over here, and then I can move all of you as one. And Celsic is no longer
down.
He's no longer down, yeah. All right, over this way. And on the way by, let's say right about there, Kalismana sees you, and he's like, "I can't possibly carry you in that form." Staring at you, Greta. And you're holding onto the rope, yeah.
Yeah, I'm busy. Is everybody alive?
And so you can all answer for yourselves.
Just about. just about, yeah.
And Zephyros says,
Took your
"You've got to
time.
get out of there. You can't save him." And he's like reaching, and the
Me?
cloud is
You
threatening.
talking to me like this?
Yeah, he's like, because he's focusing on the cloud, which is threatening to override his whatever he's doing to it.
I can feel the fury in Greta's eyes.
Yeah, I mean, you're free to ignore him. He's not.
No.
He's not the boss of you. It's just that's what
Yeah,
he's telling you.
I've got another boss. Actually, I've got a lot of them, and they're flying out. He actually thinks I can't save him.
He seems to
What kind
think.
of attitude is that?
He seems to think, well, because he's looking at a massive necrotic death cloud that has taken the dragon and Hecaton into it. I think that's why.
Okay, if it's my turn, I hand the I like move my hand with the rope over to him, then take the rope with me and we run.
And so Zephyros kind of looks and he says, "The cloud's going to escape if I don't keep it here, though."
What? But if you one day you will have to eat or something. You can't do this all the time anyway.
And he kind of looks at you and he looks back over and when I drop this spell, be aware it's going to be unpleasant.
Well, then let's grab this rope and run. With some luck, we drag him out.
Okay. So he takes the rope from you and
No, I'm also taking the rope.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
also
so
a
you're the two
giant.
of you together.
We're
all
two
right.
of you, there.
So both of you tug of war it and move out together. And as he starts to pull it out and the spell gets dropped, the cloud gets much bigger and begins to billow out this way. And there is there's a moment where, you basically, his pulling, like the cloud, remember, is pulling back against it. And so you're trying to resist the cloud, you're trying to pull along with him. And then behind you, you hear, "Well, at least we can provide something then, can't we? All right, turn around, you." And you all see the form of Bella turn around and back herself up, the big lizard, back up and basically offer the tail as Calixis, next to her, sort of urges you to grab onto the tail.
Me?
Yes.
Again? Okay, let's tie the rope around the tail. That is wonderful.
So they pull, and you all begin to pull as this cloud grows and grows and grows. I'm going to jump us forward here. I'm going to move you all out here. Okay. As you are pulled out of this area, you have something on the end of a rope, but you don't really have time to pay attention to what, because you're too busy trying to run. Once you get up here, what are you doing from this spot? Like once you're up on the top level. Something is still on the end of the rope. Who the hell knows what? But something is.
Well, we're gonna find out sooner or later. But I think for now we should keep running.
Okay.
We should also alert the giant. Is there one left or two that
There-
they should run?
There are two left. One of them is very hurt. So you could yell it out at them if you wish.
Yeah, we should definitely yell, "Run, run, run!"
So one of this is, going to leap down and start
I will
running.
add death cloud, run!
And they sort of they like what? Or the death cloud. But this one runs towards you. The other one, as he turns to run, the gargoyles strike him in the back, and he pitches forward and lies motionless. And so this one just runs this way. As the gargoyles, and all of you make your way out to, I'm assuming you're running this way just because that's the path that's open. And as you're running this way, there's a moment where you look back and you see the gargoyles are flying in your direction, and then this cloud billows up from the hole as they go over it, and and the lightning and the necrotic thing, and just you hear this awful sound of cracking and breaking as the stones fall into it. And you all keep running. Zephyros, with Calixis and Bella, gets you all back to the tower. And as you take off, you can see this cloud beginning to billow further and further up from Imrit's lair. And all of you on Zephyros' tower are watching there, along with what is left of Hecaton. I'll talk about him in a minute, but first of all, you have the immediate problem of what to do about this situation. Zephyros shakes his head, and he says, I knew there was something that had given her greater power than any dragon, even an ancient blue one, should have possessed. This is worse than I could have feared. That thing down there, if it escapes, it will not stop. That portal must be sealed, or what is on the other side of it will come into this world, and it will be worse than Tiamat. We must close it somehow.
I want to have a look at the hackathon thing because I'm running out of time here.
Okay. Hecaton looks just terribly, terribly hurt and unconscious and mangled. His body has been, looks like the side, trigger warning chat, it looks pretty bad, like it's been attacked maybe by wolves. Just awful. The side is ripped open and his eyes just sort of flicker open, and then he sort of sees you and, Greta, did we win then?
Word is still out on that. I smack a healing spell into him. I still have lots of those. If he is actually dead, I'm gonna smack a Revivify into him.
I would say he needs a Revivify at this point.
Okay, then I'm gonna smack the Revivify into him.
So Revivify does that. At least he'll get a decent burial. Okay, his eyes sort of close as his wounds knit. But you are still looking down at this cloud that is growing.
Then I look at Sephiroth. You said we need to seal it somehow. Do you have any further information on the somehow?
It would have been much easier if we'd been able to do it while we were still down there, but there was no way to do it with that thing billowing. There's one way. There's only one way. And he looks at you and he says, and the griffins, the 3 griffins are still back with him, and he says, we have few options left, but all of you can take the griffins down. The only way to destroy it is if we destroy it with a magical explosion. And the only thing we have to do that is this. And he points at his castle.
We also have a very powerful magic dragon claw.
He thinks about it and he says, maybe, but it doesn't have a catalyst. You would need something to be able to channel through it. If we destroy the castle, we can channel the power through the explosion. We can't blow up a dragon claw.
I can blow up a dragon claw.
I don't think you do enough damage to it, Greta, even with your power. And he kind of thinks about, he thinks about it for a while and he says, I don't plan to sacrifice myself, but I would rather that this castle be destroyed than anything living. If you can figure out a way to get me down safely from the castle, we can blow it up that way. Destroy this castle on top of it, and the explosion might be able to close the portal and seal it.
So, could Kalismana not carry Zephyros?
Maybe, but you have to think about your people. So you've got Greta, you've got Celsig, you've got River, and you. You have 3 griffins, a now non-functional, are going to be in a minute, castle, and Kalismana. So probably Kalismana could carry, let us say, Celsig and Greta. And also, and then also Zephyros. So, you could probably get all of you off of there. How you get off of there and also Zephyros is the problem.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, if we reserve Kalismana for Zephyros, have 1 griffin with River and Celsig, because they are the lightest of the party, have a 2nd griffin.
One griffin is probably not going to be able to carry 2. 1 griffin can carry 1, not 2. They're not a dragon. You may remember we had 1 griffin per person when you went off to find the ship in the ocean.
That is true.
But Kalismana carried Selsik, Urash, and River, right? When we went out of the hole.
Yes, barely. You could probably do something like that maybe again, but the issue is how you get Zephyros down if you're going to.
If anyone could, how high are we at the minute?
The dwarf and the lizard. Oh, and actually, Mr. Zeno, thanks. I forgot all about
the dwarf and the lizard.
I forgot about
God, yeah.
I forgot about Calixtus and Bella. Yeah, there's also those too.
Yeah,
As
thanks,
far
Mr.
as how
Zeno.
high up, you're about 150 feet above.
Right. Okay. I
Okay,
mean, that
so
makes things a lot more complicated. If it were just one more person, then I could have. If there was a way of healing me, I've attacked the ground from a great height before. That's not something.
I'll survive. The
I can heal
150
you. I still, healing is not a problem right now.
Well, I'd need to be fully healed to make sure that I would be fine.
I have 5 greater health potions.
Yeah, healing is not a problem.
So wait, your
gonna
plan
try
is
and
to
give them to
chug
you.
every health potion and then leap to the ground from 150 feet
But
While
rage
raging,
first.
he's gonna rage.
while raging?
Agree about this.
All right, now I'm gonna do this not
Yes.
because I actually want their input, but because I want to see the reaction. Chat, your opinion about whether Urash should be allowed to leap 150 feet, rage on the way, and hit the ground. Your opinion, chat. I await the emotes. I'm waiting. They're coming.
Did the death ward on Urash trigger?
Yes.
Yes, that's how he survived. And relentless endurance.
Yes. I am spent with extra lives.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Will Zacharias splat.
Everyone's like, yes, of course. Incredible Hulk ground smash, the world's angriest splat. Sure, why not? Of course, chat. Why do I even bother? Of course. No one's gonna be like, that doesn't
I've
sound
done
right
it
to me.
too. Maybe we should both do it and see who comes out better.
Oh, I cannot fly,
I can't
right?
rage. I don't even
No,
remember how.
not that I know of,
survived.
unless you have something I don't.
Oh, we have.
Should I
I'm
trust
pretty
that the Son of God says you can do this? I think you may be a little bit, just to be clear, Son of God, you may have a little bit of an advantage, all right? I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I've fallen quite
So we have-
far.
we only.
150
Whole length of the
feet?
tower. You fell from
Oh,
the top of the tower to the bottom of the tower
Yeah.
at one point.
I also fell from the tower straight onto the Uthgar Barbarian
Yes.
village as well, which was a long way. I mean, it hurt, don't get me wrong. But it was a
You know
long
what? I
way.
mean, like what Marinda said is true. Maybe it's not survival, not guaranteed, but it's a better shot than the other alternative, which is someone else definitely dies, and/or the world is consumed by this cloud of death and this portal.
My affairs are in order.
Can, Sephiroth, can you do that stunt from a griffin, or do you need Callous Mana?
Well, I need to set the castle and then be able to leap off, and be brought down somehow. My griffins won't be able to carry me, at least not only
Question.
one of them. Remember when he
Good
showed up, Greta? He had 3 of them carrying him. Remember?
Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out the logistics here. Can Callous Mana get Calixtus and Bella down?
I would say yes, but that's the only 2 they'll be able to carry because Bella is pretty
okay.
big.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Do potions of giant size work on dragons? And I'm just looking over to River, who has the potion of giant transformation on her belt.
A lot of these.
So if we feed that to Kalismana, will he become a giant dragon?
Does a
Oh, he's
potion
thinking
of
about it. He's
dragon
thinking
giant
about it.
size work on a
He's
dragon?
thinking about it.
Only 3 of the 4 have been used.
Yeah.
No, it says that you become huge for 24 hours if you're medium or smaller. Otherwise, the potion does nothing.
Oh,
Sorry, says it
Good
right
thought,
there.
though.
unfortunate.
Yeah, that would have been nice, but no.
It would have been.
Sadly, no double strength, double level dragon. At that point, I would have been
wow.
like, why the hell didn't you do that in the first place and just send him into wreck face? Like, I'm twice the size of Imri. But
We
no,
don't have we don't have time to land and just unload people, right?
no.
No. Okay, it's that. That's all I can think of then. I'm taken care of because I will, as long as I'm healed, I will hit the ground and I'll.
Maybe you're
ground.
taken care of.
I'm probably taken care of. If everyone
Yeah.
else, bar me, can get off safely, then I'd rather that happen. And Urash is saying this with quite a lot of passion in his voice. It's like, I'd rather that happen than definitely someone die.
We have a problem. We can get, if you jump, we can get you down, we can get Calixtus and Bella down, and we can have the 3 griffins take Hecaton down. that still leaves Sephiroth, Celsic, River, and me.
Is there a body of water nearby? I know it's a desert.
In the desert.
No, not in the desert.
No, there might have been.
But let's face it, there is no reason for you to not get off, because we need some. Even if the Griffins get Hackathon down, we need somebody to bring him to safety, because apparently he got lost a lot.
He gets stolen a lot.
He nearly fell into a death hole.
It's a good thing that taking is a free action. The end of the world waits for drama. I know. Well,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
being a little bit lenient
Yeah.
in this case because it is a big decision.
Yeah, it is a pretty big decision.
Celsic, if we have a rope long enough, are you nimble enough to just climb down?
I'm not even nimble enough to stand up right now.
He's like almost
Healing is not a problem. I punch a
They
few
did
wounds.
say that I have a potion of giant size, and that would double my HP. I haven't been hit at all. So I could also rage at the ground, but less effectively. And then we don't have to worry about me, at least.
Holy should have made you cross skill as a barbarian.
I know, right?
We
Seriously.
should have just had like sparring matches, and you're just like, I'm now a sorcerer, barbarian, dragonborn.
Oh. So if I like take the potion in mid-fall,
We still have the gliders on board, the one that we used for the whatever name barbarians.
I'm pretty sure that we used those and then they got destroyed on the way down.
Do you have any
Oh.
more?
That's why we raged at the ground.
right.
was
That's why
because
we
they
were raging. You were raging. Exactly right.
Did we have spares?
No.
No.
No spare gliders, sorry. And although I very much appreciate the decision you're making, I do have to speed it
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, so
Although I do want to point out, this is very much like the whole how many like fox goose crossing
exactly
a river
what I
thing.
was
Like,
thinking.
all right, if I take this, you put him on a dragon. You do it there. You take two. Take the
Yeah.
the grain.
I would say Urash and River, you take your chances with the ground. We get Calixis and Bella down with Kalismana, Hekaton with the Griffins, and Celsic, Sephiroth, and I will just figure something out, right?
I mean, that sounds logical. But this is coming from someone who generally enjoys throwing himself off large buildings.
Okay.
All right. Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
I think so.
Okay.
I get to become large and then hurt. I'm
so
excited.
let's start with the easy one, which is Urash and River leaping off to their to the conclusion.
Thank you very much.
At the bottom.
So I have a quick question of health. So people mentioned that they had health potions, and Greta keeps saying that healing is no problem. So I only have 10 hit points and no get out of jail free card.
Yeah, well, five greater healing potions should help.
Yeah,
I
if you need
see.
to just have as many of these as you want.
How do greater healing potion? And can I spend hit dice?
You cannot spend hit dice.
God damn it.
You're not in a position to do that.
So they're potions of extra healing, and I have 5 left.
Okay.
So
Well,
and
how does the potion of extra healing work?
so an extra healing potion will 5d4 plus 5 hit points of damage when wholly consumed.
5d4 plus, what was that?
Plus 5 hit points of damage when wholly consumed. Now, technically, I shouldn't be allowing the Skyrim thing of eating like 50 wheels of cheese or drinking like, I'll just down 5 potions like, but I will permit some version of that. So one potion
Okay.
is 5d4 plus 5 hit points of damage.
So let's do that first. 5d4 plus 5. Oops. So 5d4 plus 5, yes?
5d4 plus 5.
Yes. A lot of dice. 18. These aren't going to help. These that took me a solid minute to chug that entire bottle. These are not going to help.
18. All right, so you're up to 28.
28 out of 100.
Woohoo!
Well, in that case, I can put. I mean, there might no. I'm sorry, Celtic. There might be no sense in healing Celtic nor me, so I'm gonna put the Cure Wounds and Healing Word into Urash.
Zelsa can have one of my potions too.
Urash just drank them all.
Oh, he
No,
drank
that
all
was
of
just
them?
one.
No,
No, that was
just
just
one?
one.
That was just one, yeah.
That was just one.
Oh, okay.
So wait, did you Greta do what you said in Zoom? Did you do that or not? Like,
No, because I thought
because
that
of this,
Urash
okay.
could drink. Thought that Urash could drink all of the potions.
right. Yeah.
But if
Use
he
him on the
can't-
people who are going to drop first.
So I'm gonna use the Cure Wound and Healing Word on Urash.
Okay.
Let's see if the program can figure it out on its own. No, it can't. I think I just broke roll 20 for me. I'm sorry. Yes, this is at level 1. Well, no, this
Ooh.
must be more because it should add my thingy, shouldn't it? Yeah, plus my spellcasting modifier. So this plus 7.
So,
So
15 more. Okay.
15 from the Cure Wounds.
That's 43.
And let's see. 1d4 plus spellcasting modifier. Well, better than nothing, I guess. So this plus 7 again, so another 9.
Okay.
If I had more time, I could do more healing, but
Kinda don't.
the prayer of healing takes more time. These are just the fast ones.
So are you still okay with me drinking another potion? Bob?
Oh, I forgot.
I would say you have a chance to do one more thing. Like if you want to do that, that's fine. But after that, it's going to get a little bit out of hand. You're gonna.
Okay.
That's going to be it.
Yeah, as in for all of us or just for me? Because like there's a lot happening to me right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean for you, because I don't think anybody else.
Yeah.
You know.
That's absolutely fine.
I forgot that I do my healing spells all on advantage. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. It's going to be hard to figure out.
Okay,
what
it's
all
nope.
right. Good. So never
Okay,
mind.
wasn't better.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So that's going to bring you up to a total of 68. I think you're going to have to go with that,
Yep.
Arash. You're
Yep, that's
running
fine.
out of time here.
That'll do.
So everyone is.
Okay.
So we have River trying to hit the ground, Urash trying to hit the ground, and then so let's deal with those two first, and then we'll figure out what happens with Zephyros, Greta,
Okay.
and Celsig.
So we're at the door of the tower, basically,
Mhm.
150 feet in the air, right?
Yep.
Okay. I will look over to River. Have you taken your potion of giant size yet?
No, I'm gonna do it just on the way down so I don't break the tower.
Okay. All I'm gonna
This
say,
is a giant tower. Sephiroth is a giant.
yeah,
But I don't want to like big and then break his stuff.
that's
I don't
fair.
know.
I'm just gonna go over to River and say, this is really gonna hurt. Just make sure your body goes loose just before you impact.
I'll meet you at the bottom.
I hug River in like a very non-Urash type of moment because there's been a lot of stuff that's gone on with his party members right now.
Yeah.
And he says, I surely hope so, friend, for both of us. And with that, I do the almost the halo jumping thing of just falling out of the...
We get the lens flare behind
Yeah.
the two of you, and the music in the background. I can see myself, like the Aerosmith, like as they're coming down. All right. When you impact the ground from 150 feet up,
And
you
I'm
will take
raising.
1d6 of damage for every 10 feet that you fall, up to a maximum of 20. So you will take 15d6 points of damage. So we're going to see what that is. All right. So River, you were at 84, right? Because of the doubling.
I was. And I got a lot of ones. So.
Oh no, I'm
Yeah,
rolling
no,
it.
he's
I roll
rolling
it.
it.
Oh,
No,
you're rolling
Yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh,
No,
never
you don't
mind.
roll
I
it.
thought we were rolling
No,
it.
no, no.
No, he
I roll it.
controls gravity in this world.
That's exactly right.
That makes sense.
Okay, and then Urash, you were at 68, right?
Yes. And I'd just like to say that there's a certain moment of peace as I'm hurtling towards the ground at great speed. And I'm presuming we can see this cloud at this point, right?
Yes. The visual is of the two of you with the sun sort of glinting as you're hurtling down, the cloud billowing out, and the castle hurtling towards it. And the two of you then impact. I would say everything goes black You take exactly 68 points of damage each, which means that Urash is at 0.
I'm presuming that's halved.
Yeah, because he's rage.
Oh, yeah.
He's really angry at you.
True.
angry at the
Really
ground.
angry. 34. And River is going to take 68 out of 84, which is going to make it 16, I think.
Yep.
Slam.
Neither of us can do math, but yes.
Still, the thing is going to go black. And meanwhile,
Yeah.
up in the tower, the Calixis and Bella have been taken down by Kalismana. The Griffins have taken who? Hecaton, right? So it's the three of you. And Zephyros sort of says, well, all of our ideas are gone, I think, my friends. Any thoughts? It's a pretty day today, you know. A lovely sunset. The castle just...
It's a good day to save the world.
I seriously think these Harper archers could have come.
They were there. You missed them.
I don't think so.
I saw him. Diego sacrificed his life down there.
Gosh darn, so he got to be in hero in the end?
Zephyros says, not that it might matter, but I did want to tell you that it's been an honor to know you. And although I didn't expect to end this way, it's an interesting journey, I think, to the other side. Perhaps I'll see you over there. Now, you folks have a chance, Greta and Selsig. I mean, you can try to throw yourself off and see what happens without the benefit of these things, or stay in the castle. But I'm not going to give you a lot of time to talk about it. You got to.
With one whole healing point. I've lived a coward. Maybe I should try dying a hero.
You know what? I think I might have enough hit points left to make the dive. I take Selsig because he's not in any shape or form that he can resist this. And I kind of, do a backwards belly flap because if he's on me, he might just make it. And just for good measure, I'm gonna smash a guidance into him.
Okay.
I'd like to say this is non-consensual.
Yes, of course this is non-consensual. I didn't ask you.
You don't have the hit points to fight back at this point.
Yeah, it's like, what are you gonna do, bro?
Okay.
Strap myself to the wheel and ride it to glory.
I mean, that's your choice.
I think I've already been pulled off the side.
I gotta try to save him. I'm gonna smack a guidance into him, and I'm gonna go backwards while holding on to Selsig.
Yeah, I mean, and I would say Selsig. I will say, you could theoretically try to just do a strength check to avoid being pulled off. Otherwise, it's up to you.
I'm gonna symbolically. I'm gonna do it. Hang on. What was my strength pre-giant? Strength 12.
So basically, it's an opposed check. So Greta, you'll be doing strength, and he'll be doing strength.
I really don't expect this to pan out, but I'm not going without a
If
fight.
you're gonna roll 20, I'm gonna be pissed.
So it's just a base strength check, yeah?
Yes. Yeah, if you had athletics, I would take that, but I don't think you do.
Would have been the same either way, yeah.
Okay. Well, Greta does override you in this case.
Well, not only I can't have a day where only Diego gets to be a hero. So let's try to get Selsig out of here.
All right. So, the same fall happens. Good news, you're only about 100 feet above the ground when this happens.
Oh,
so,
we could have waited.
Well, the thing is, well, actually, it's a good point. What I will say is, well, no, you know what? You have to do it at the same time, or you're going to hit the cloud. That's the problem. So yeah, because of the billowing cloud. So I take that back. It has to be the same distance, because otherwise, I was trying for an awesome movie moment, but you're right. That doesn't make any sense because of the cloud. So never mind. 15. Okay. So as you are on the way down, Greta, and again the light is sort of glinting, and Selsig, you're able to see the light occasionally is overwhelming. And you can see the
Life
clouds
flashing
there.
before my eyes for the 4th time today.
Yeah, basically.
Fast forwarding the boring bits.
And you can see, you think you may just possibly see Zephyros's face kind of looking out curiously at you as the tower plunges down. And just before both of you hit the ground, there's a moment of just a white light. It's all very quiet, almost silent, really, covering over the billowing cloud. And there is white light, and then there is silence. It jumps us forward to a room. In this room, you, all of you, one after the other, and I'd say probably the first one to wake is probably Urash. And you look up and you see above you all white. And at first you're like, oh, okay, so this is what things are like. And then you realize that you feel your body on something. And as you look around and you can feel that everything is white. In fact, you're covered in white. The blankets of the bed that you're on is white. The room is white. And as you look over, you can see that your friends are also singularly attired in white. And all of them are lying on beds sort of next to you. And you hear just sort of silence, and then just the quietest sound of breathing coming from everyone. But there's no one in the room. You can act as you wish, Urish.
I check that I am breathing.
You are. Seems like it.
Are my wounds still there?
Yeah, you're in a lot of pain, but you can feel your heart beating. You feel the old familiar tug of the scars that move on your back when you turn.
I'm gonna try and get off the table.
You're able to.
Bed, sorry.
Yeah, you're able to move around. Everything hurts a lot. You're just like, oh, like everything is sore, but you're able to move.
And I double check my companions are still breathing.
They do all appear to be breathing.
Okay.
And I would say the next one is River. River, you are lying there, and suddenly you hear the sound of some slight creaking as if someone has gotten out of something. And then you hear, and your eyes flicker open to see Urash's face kind of peering into yours.
Did we win?
I think we might have done.
Is this heaven?
I don't know. It seems a little quiet.
Isn't heaven supposed to be quiet?
Not mine.
Oh. I guess that's true. We wouldn't be in the same heaven, would we?
That's true.
I don't think this is heaven. Where's Greta? Celsic.
They're here.
I try to sit up slowly and
you do so with every part of your body in pain.
Yeah, all pain.
No, I'll help River sit up. See, I think this would have been a lot worse if you'd have not let your body go limp at the end there.
I know, right?
Celsic, I'd say you're
about a steak.
And Celsic, I'd say you're the next one to wake. You sort of stir and see River and Urash both wincing and like holding their backs and like talking to each other.
I snap awake going like, Greta!
Yeah. You do that, and as you say Greta, your back is like, what are you doing? Ow, 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 ow. You are in enormous pain. And actually, your right leg doesn't even respond to command. And as you look down, you see that it is held out and immobilized, and there is what looks like a couple of wooden, essentially crutches next to the bed. Greta's on the other side of you, apparently asleep, and I already mentioned Urash and River.
Yep.
I vaguely remember kicking a cultist in a hole. Then everything went lightning.
You helped save us, friend. You released something that helped defeat the dragon. And my God, am I glad to see you all right. And I give Selsig a hug. A soft hug, because we're both in a
I was going to say,
tremendous
ow,
amount of pain.
ow.
Yeah.
I kiss him on the cheek and I'd just say, I remember. You came for me.
I couldn't leave you behind. We've been through so much, all of us. I couldn't leave any of you behind.
Where the... I look over, I see River. I wave at River. Ow! Hi, ow!
Ow, ow, ow. I'm glad you're not dead. Now you can be a ranger for another day.
Greta, you do not wake up in this room, at least not immediately. You find yourself in a familiar smithy. And as you're sitting in this smithy, you hear the familiar sound of someone hammering away. And you look over and you see that it is the one from your vision who crafted, you may remember, the items for you. And he says, what are you doing here? It's not your time to go, not yet. What are you doing in this place? You've been messing about down in that realm, have you?
I might have.
Well, did you die?
I don't know.
Ah,
I fell down a lot, but I did that before. So far it worked out, but I might not want to do it again.
no one ever knows for sure if they're dead when they come here. That's the problem. Then I have to figure it out myself. You know what's going to happen is we're going to have this conversation, and if you survive, you're going to come back, and then you're going to have to tell them whether you think it's a vision, and I'm going to get away with being like, is it real or not? And they'll be like, well, probably not.
What?
And he kind of looks back at you and he says, you know, Greta, it hasn't always been easy watching after you. You make things awfully difficult, you do. And then you see that there's a slight shimmering of light about him, Greta. You did not recognize that light before. All this
Wow.
nonsense, may his light shine on your way. Anyone ever ask if light shine on my way? That's my light you're talking about.
I didn't make that up. It's kind of traditional. It's and also it's not, I mean, you chose me.
Well, of course I did. Because you're so goddamn, me damned stubborn. I mean, look at what happens to you. You go down there, what was that thing? You grab him and grab Selsig and leap off a tower like a bloomin' idiot and charge all the way down? And I'm supposed to save you because you're being a hero and because you're saving the world. And you know the worst of it? He looks back at you. I'm probably going to have to do it. You know what it's like to let your best followers die?
No, I don't.
Well, of course you don't. And he turns back around and he says, listen, the truth is, you've always been one of my best followers. And I know that. But this is your last shot, you understand me? I can't just save you all the time, every second. At some point, your luck's gonna run out. Your bravery, I don't know, retire and go build a church in a village or something. For the love of me.
Well, what if I don't want to retire?
He shakes his head and he kind of turns around and he looks back at you and he says, and you'll be the same thing you've always been. Get along with you. You got some friends down there you need to be reunited with. Bunch of nonsense heroes. one of them anyway. And there's a rush, and then you're, on the table looking up, and you see your three friends there.
It has been a hell of a day. I just don't do anything. I'll just lie there.
Do we know that Greta's awake?
I would say so. Her eyes are open.
Give her the biggest hug, like the softest, biggest hug.
It hurts a lot, Greta.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm just like, I'm so glad to see you're all right.
Yeah. I think my god just told me to retire. She looks
Well,
like
you just-
completely shocked.
Well, okay.
No.
You did just
I
kind of
think
save
my
the
god
world.
told me that about the time the lightning hit.
Wouldn't that be okay because we saved the world? So it's okay to retire.
How
Okay
did
to
we
take-
save the
take some
world? What
days
about
off.
the death cloud? And even if that, then we did not save the world and Sephiroth did it.
We helped.
You
Yes,
hear
Sometimes it's all you can do.
you all hear, by the way, outside the room where you are, there seems to be a little bit of a commotion outside, as if you hear sounds. There's a couple of windows with closed shutters.
Stagger towards the sounds.
Okay.
Are we dressed?
In simple white robes
Okay,
and
good.
tunics.
Okay.
We're the sacrifice.
Pretty much.
It's not funny, River.
So you get to the shutter. Are you opening it?
Oh, yeah, we
yes.
open it, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if you've ever had the experience of going to a sporting event, you'll know the sound of being underneath the stadium, and then where it sounds like, and it gets loud as you walk out into the crowd. And as the shutters open, you hear this enormous cheer break out. You were on the top of a tower, or I should say not the absolute top, the third window up, let's say, third floor up. And down below you is a whole host of people. There are giants, there are dwarves, there are gnomes, there are humans, there are elves. You're pretty sure you think you see Gleek standing over on one side with a bunch of goblins cheering and jumping up and down. You see, in fact, even the tree, who you may remember having helped, with several trees around them with their arms folded like branches in front of them. There must be 1,000 there, all cheering for you. And at their head is King Hecaton, who is standing there kind of leaning himself on a crutch, but is alive. Sarissa, his daughter, is with him. His wife is next to him. And the giants of all different kinds, including some rather sullen, it must be said, looking fire giants, are standing in rows cheering you as you are being praised to the heavens. There is no sign, of course, of Zephyros. There is no sign of his castle. There is no sign of those who were not able to make it through. There is no return for Harshnag. There is, of course, a return for Calixis and Bella. And in the time to come, I would say each of you would be visited by several that are important to you. River, at one point, you are visited in your bedroom by several dragonborn ghosts who tell you that they have found some kind of redemption through the action you have taken, and then swirl and are gone. Urash, in the months ahead, presumably you will have a chance to go and see the experience of being a full, devout follower of Tempest, someone who is yourself now has a host of people who wish to learn from you how best to rage. There is even a group, a new musical group, which calls themselves the Falling Barbarians, named after you. Selsig, I imagine that for you, we see you in a casino, the incredibly successful casino with multiple branches open in every conceivable city on the Sword Coast. It is a franchise, though it must be said you get by far the largest cut. Although you will probably maybe have your thieving days behind you, because it's not easy to get that leg to heal just quite right. But boy, do you have a lot of money. And, of course, the admiration of all who knew you. And Greta, I would imagine that several temples, by the time all is said and done, in multiple villages, have been set up on your behalf, with you organizing exactly how that is done. And the Harpers, I think at your request, have been asked not to have a place anywhere near any place where you build a church. Which leads me to ask each one, River, what's the last thing that we see of you in this adventure?
You don't see much of anything, but you do hear tales of a dragonborn traveling from inn to inn, doing eating contests.
I love it. Urash, what about you?
The last thing you see of Urash is after returning home to the small northern town of Palashuk that was besieged by a nearby necromancer, who at the time was the most evil thing in the world. Now Urash realizes maybe it's just another bad guy that needs taking care of. You see Urash leading a small warband of fellow Tempus following barbarians into the heart of Castle Perilous to take care of this necromancer.
Sounds good. Selsig, what do they see from you?
At the opening of my newest casino, the Raging Barbarian, which, in keeping with the theme after the Hungry Dragonborn and the Devout Cleric, he's taking a meeting with some people to keep up on affairs in the realm that maybe, while he may not be able to go and deal with himself, perhaps his coin can send some people where their help is needed most.
Very nice. And Greta, where did they last see you?
Greta is traveling around a lot, but she finds a lot of reasons to visit her friends, making sure that all of Celtic's permits are completely fine, making sure that nobody is hurting River in any way. Also, she will just pretend that she needs new socks. having checked if Urash needs a little healing, but in some quiet moments, she'll always cast, when nobody sees her, light, just to make sure it still works.
I love that. And I would say that in the months ahead, you will learn something of the conspiracy that Imrith had made a pact with a creature of elder darkness, but that the pact had come due faster than Imrith expected. And rather than sacrificing the creatures she intended to, Hecaton and some of the greatest heroes of the realm, Imrith was herself sacrificed before that portal was closed permanently upon her. And, of course, there will be other risks ahead, other dangers that you'll have to deal with. But now that the realms in the last 10 years has stopped the rise of Tiamat and reduced the Storm King's thunder, and the ordning is now back in place with Hecaton at its front and Sarissa and his wife by his side, it seems like there is at least a little bit of stability that is left to go. And perhaps the very last thing we would see is the symbol or the figure of a hill giant who is pulling her way, walking over hills, grumbling, and saying, "Moog said, come find me in year. Haven't found them. Moog needs to find each one of them. They owe me. They were supposed to come find me." And Moog, still grumbling, going up and down hill and up and down hill and up and down hill, heads off into the shadows, as must we, with the end of Storm King's Thunder. Well done, everybody. So, huzzah! Lovely stuff. I will start with Chai on the bottom. Chai, it was what? I can't. No, sorry. Chai, that was lovely stuff, and it was a great pleasure to be able to see. Hey, chat's happy to be able to see how River conducted herself. Do you have any thoughts about how things went? Any final thoughts about the campaign? I know you're still with us for Talisman Adventures, but any thoughts about how things went in the session, etc.?
I mean, thoughts, feelings, all sorts of stuff is going on in my head, and none of it has words. So right now I'm having a hard time putting anything into words, but it was a ton of fun. This is actually, if I'm remembering right, other than the very first campaign that I played with you, Arv, where I exploded in someone's armor and killed them because I was a snake.
Yeah,
I think
that was Tomb of Horrors, I think.
Yeah, it was really fun. This is the only other campaign I've ever beaten. Otherwise, it's the longest campaign I've ever been a part of. Everything else has been like a week on, a week off, and oh no, we're not playing anymore, and it's been months and all that stuff. So this was a real treat with fantastic group of people who have enriched my life. So yeah, it was really hard to have to take a step back, but I've got this little one, I've got another little one coming, and my husband works during the day, so it's just like inconvenient for everyone. But we still have Talisman. Yes, I know that you are mad. I know you're mad. But anyway, I loved it, and I love you all, and you guys are all great.
Yeah, I was waiting for Echo to react. He's like, "Wait, a new one?" All right, his chat is kind of dealing with that. Congratulations, Chai, and yeah, thank you for being a really, really great part of this, and for being such a good sport about it, and playing River so memorably. And we will continue to see you, of course, with Talisman Adventures. Moving right on up the line, Mike, that's campaign number 2 for you and me that we've done. So, how'd you feel about this? I wasn't sure if everyone was going to make it, and I don't think you would have made it if it wasn't for the fact that you had a death ward and the resilience, that made that possible. But man, what a memorable, fun character to play, and I don't think I've ever seen someone rage on the ground so much as you did. How did you feel about today's session, and about in general? Any last thoughts about how this goes?
I think the session itself went exactly how I think we all wanted it to go, but never goes how we think it will go. So I think we end up on top at the end of the day, but there's definitely some tumbles along the way. I don't know. It's really weird coming to the end of the campaign with everyone, and it's been such a journey with everyone, and figuring out people's characters, figuring out my own character, getting to know the human beings behind the characters, and just the chemistry between everybody. Like, these characters have grown with each other as this group has grown with each other, and it's properly beautiful to be a part of that. That's special. That's like, it's that moment in time where you have to be involved in that group, or you have to be part of that to really understand that journey that these people take. And just being part of this is just, yeah, I think Chai said it best. It has enriched my life. It really has. And especially over the last, year, 18 months, everyone's mental health has taken a bit of a decline. And I think this is one of the things, especially at my darkest points, it's really helped. It's helped stabilize me. It's been the same as having, it is the same as having a great group of friends that I can hang out with, and it just heals me. So I'm incredibly pleased to have been part of this. And I'm super excited for the next one. And I'm glad Urash survived. I think we spoke long and hard about TikTok, the character I played in the Infinity and Beyond. TikTok passed away at the end of Tyranny of Dragons, and that came as a big shock to the rest of the group. But actually, that was a long thing coming because of his story and backstory. We decided that actually that should be a short-lived character. Like, that's probably going to get more complicated if we allow that character to live. But Urash, I wanted him to have closure. You know, he's got someone that he cares about in his life now. He's got a family to look after. He's got his tribe to look after, that sort of thing. And he wants to go and kind of let everything come full circle and take care of the people around him. So, yeah, it's just been really brilliant to be part of it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, man. I've been glad to have you as a part of it, and I'm glad that we will continue to play together in Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Saber, you know, Celsig, that moment actually where Urash came and picked you up and was like shielding you is, first of all, not only an awesome image in my, like I was thinking about in my head as far as like how that looked for the two of you. I was just like, wow, that's super cool that you all did that. But I think also was, you know, I didn't know you were very close to just being dead completely, and under the circumstances, that's why, right? Like, I mean, you were sort of putting yourself at risk. You had revealed yourself, and all of the stuff you were doing was sensible, like in terms of you had to do the best you could. But ancient blue dragon, like, you know, and so it was really a pleasure to see how Celsig sort of built up over the course of the adventure, and became both more and less like himself in a way. And I really enjoyed watching that happen. I think you played him exceedingly well, and you know, for a first campaign in quotes, I mean, no one would have been able to tell that coming into the middle of it. So well done, well played. How did you feel about everything when all said and done?
It has been 5 years, certainly. I mean, I want to say a big hug for everyone, including you, Arv, because everyone goes on about how great the party is. DMs don't get as much love, I think, and well, you probably do because you're amazing, but still, I just want it. I don't want it to go unsaid, because I couldn't have asked for a better DM. I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to play with, especially for my first time. They've put up with me for like trying to figure out how my character's going to act, and yeah, they've never made me feel like I'm doing it wrong, which I think is probably the most important thing for a new player. They've accepted it. They've rolled with how I've been dealing with the character. They may quite vocally disagree with what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, but they've never made me feel I'm making bad choices or wrong choices, at least outside of how their character will react. And they've all played the characters so well that it's like, well, yeah, I'm totally like, well, yeah, you wouldn't like me doing this, but I'm Celsig Bauer, don't care. And stuff like that. And it's also, I like that the last dice roll of this campaign was me trying to fight off Greta to go down with the tower.
Yeah.
Because I would have.
Yeah.
And that was kind of weird for me, because in games, I usually hate the noble sacrifice ending, because I always feel it's a bit taking the power out of the player's hand. But in this campaign, it was my choice, and it made sense. Because, I've lived as a selfish person. I've lived for myself. I've lived as a coward. And I was prepared to die for the greater good, to let the most amount of people survive. The people who could go on to do better things than maybe I could when all the dust was settled. So I didn't even like come into this planning for that to be like, I'm going to make sure I die by the end of this right. Encounter. But finding that actually developing over time, and I was like leaning more and more towards, no, you know what? Celsig's going to go down with the ship here. This makes sense. He would. I mean, at one point when the cultist was teetering on the edge of the pit, I was considering just ramming into him to get him over there. But luckily I didn't need to. But
I would have felt bad too after the whole thing about you had increased damage, which is true as a giant.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I'd forgotten that too. So that's on me as well. But yeah, again, it's been great. And again, I've wanted to try Dungeons and Dragons for so long. And I get it. I totally get
best
it.
Game.
It's so good. And I'm absolutely looking forward to carrying on Dungeons and Dragons. I'm absolutely looking forward to carrying on with Talisman, because I think they're both great systems, very different systems, which keeps them both interesting in their separate ways as well, which stops them feeling overlapping. I don't feel there is a lot of overlap between the two, so that keeps them very, very fresh for me. And yeah, it is to another 5 years.
Thank you very much, Saber, for everything. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate the goodwill with this. Also, chat, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Like, signs about greatest DM and stuff. It's funny thinking about what what bullied 12, 13-year-old me would have thought about being in a much different point in my life, much older and much wiser, in part because I'm much more convinced about the things that matter to me now. And so anyway, I appreciate that, chat. Last but certainly not least, Pyron, Greta, well, I think it can now be told that Pyron and I actually had spoken many, many months ago about the possibility of her switching characters. And there was a pivot point where I thought that's what she was going to do. It was when you were in the Duke Zalto's fire realm, and there was a moment where basically you were all trying to run down, you may remember trying to run down the mine tracks, and Greta had an opportunity there where I thought what she was going to do was going to basically hold them off heroically. And that would have basically ended Greta, and it would have been the opening of a new character. Oh, thank you guys, Shelley, appreciate that. And it would have been a new character. And instead, very much surprising me, Pyron chose not to do that. She chose to turn and go back with the rest of the party. And that surprised me. And I talked to her about it later, and she said, well, she said it just didn't seem like the right time. And I guess there never really was quite the right time to switch up with Greta, even though I know Greta was, sometimes aspects of the healing and everything. You were like, I don't know if this is the kind of character I would normally play. But you played it exceedingly well, and I think very consistently. And it always struck me that you had that opportunity before you, and you were like, your decision. You're like, no, I want to do something in a different way. And I thought that was very interesting and neat to see that you made a call that was right for you. And I guess I would ask, how did you feel about everything when all said and done, and with this campaign, and any final thoughts you have about what we did with this adventure?
Greta. So, some of you who might have been here might remember that this was kind of a one-shot when it started out. And Greta is actually a pre-made character. And when Arf asked us, like, what do you want to play? I just said, I'll play anything, just no spellcaster, please. And he handed me a cleric. And I was like, oh no. And then it was the healer. And I was like, oh no. And then I was Greta. And I wrote a backstory for her, and I played her. And there was times where I did struggle with her, because it's absolutely, definitely not the kind of character I usually play. But that also made me think more about Greta than I might have done with any other character that I came up on my own. And that was, for me, I've played D&D and other systems before for a long time, but this was very much different for me because of this start and because of this weird relationship I had with this character the whole time through. And for some reason, this was also the first character I had that ended up kind of having a leader role in a group, which I've never played before. And it was, this campaign was in a way like so different for me than any other I've played before. And I've enjoyed it immensely. I've enjoyed all of you immensely. It was such a glorious, glorious time. And I'm so damn happy that we're going to have another campaign after this, and that we're going to have Talisman, and that we're going to have all of this. But still, it was, for me, it was different and very, very special. And this is not saying that I didn't enjoy being Greta, but I enjoyed it in a different way than I've played before.
That's well said. For my part, you can see all the chat being like, that was a long one shot. Yeah, that's very true. But chat, basically all the, love coming from people talking about how they really were invested in these characters. And it's true. I've been very, very blessed. I've said all along to have a group of wonderful players in all the different campaigns. And I said what I've adored about this group is not only their care for each other and me, which I appreciate, but their the enthusiasm and joy of it. Ultimately, a game like this is about joy, whether it is about the joy of a well-told story that doesn't end the way you expected, and maybe doesn't end where everyone gets a happy ending, but it's something where everyone feels as if their story mattered, right? And whether it's the joy of that or whether it's the joy of getting to live out a life and do things in fantasy that you might not be able to do otherwise in reality, or whether it's the ability to live out a part of your life that is something that you're trying to work out in real life, and you kind of work it out psychologically speaking a little bit in D&D, or just for the fun of rolling dice and seeing crits on coming back from the dead, for example, as someone might have done today. All of that stuff is part of this experience, and it's a great joy to play with people that have so much fun with it. There's a reason it's my favorite game, and it's because you not only get to see these wonderful stories, but you get to do it with these wonderful people. And I could not think of a better group of people to do that with, which is why, since this whole weekend has been about me tearing up, I was just tearing up again. I'll just keep tearing up because it's been all about that for the last 4 or 5 days. Nerves are a bit raw, people, but it has been a wonderful experience to DM this group. And for Chai, thank you so much for being part of this with us. And of course, we will still see you here for Talisman, and for everybody else. And of course, for Ananda, who's going to be joining us for the D&D game. We begin in 2 weeks, Ghosts of Saltmarsh. Ghosts of Saltmarsh will start in 2 weeks, and then Talisman Adventures will continue the week after that. And the only thing I would ask, chat, is for all of you who've been saying all these lovely things, thank you. And if you enjoyed it, I would ask 2 things. One, I would ask that you let everyone that you can know about it, right? Let people know that this is something which GOG should keep doing and keep supporting, and that this is something you want to see more of, because this kind of event can happen a lot more when you're telling everyone, hey, tell your friends, hey, I want to see more of this. And secondly, please give some love to the streamers who make this possible. And I want to in particular highlight Pyron here, because it was partially, I think largely actually, Pyron who made it possible to convince GOG in the first place. You want to keep playing D&D, you want to do this twice a month where there's no video game. It's just, it's not, because we're GOG, right? And Pyron made it happen, and I think GOG now seems pretty happy with what they've seen, and so I'm very glad about that. Please, it's a message of appreciation for Pyron in that specific role, and also please let people know about the joy of what you get from D&D. And my last point is for those of you who are like, it really inspired me to play some of this wonderful game. There are pickup games that you can find online. There are your friendly local game store that you can go out to as the pandemic lifts. You can't do it immediately, I know. But when when circumstances permit, go out and find people to play with. You don't need to have a whole group. You don't need to have fancy maps and videos and music. You just need friends and joy and a desire to be together telling a story, as we've been doing since the caveman days. Go play a game with your friends. And in that spirit, and with thanks to this wonderful group, I will close the curtain on Storm King's Thunder. I'll see these folks in 2 weeks, except for Chai, for Ghosts of Saltmarsh. And in 3 weeks, I will see this group with Chai for Talisman Adventures. Chat, can we get lots of love for Pyron Jade, for Darksaber 2K, for Peripheral Mike, and for Tasty Chai. Thank you all, and I will see you lovely folks soon. And that, folks, is going to do it for us for today. It's going to do it for me for today. What a lovely experience. What a treat to be able to do finales with such lovely groups of people. Really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it with all of you. Thank you so much, chat, for being a wonderful audience and being part of this group and part of this channel. We really appreciate it so much. That's it for me. I am going to be back on my own channel on Friday. Don't yet know when I'm playing because I haven't even set my schedule yet. I've been just a little bit busy. And so I will do the best I can to make that happen as soon as I can and have a schedule up for you. And we do a lot of this over on my channel. So if you liked it, please follow me over there. Otherwise, I'll be back here next week with some Neverwinter Nights 2 Complete. And then the week after that, the premiere of Ghosts of Saltmarsh, and the week after that, the continuation of Talisman Adventures. So thank you, everybody. Much love to all of you, and thank you all for being a part of this for so many years. And what a wonderful image to think that these four people get what they want. The characters got what they want, and it was a challenge. There were losses, but there were also some gains, and could that not be said for life in general? Much love to all of you. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. And I will see you folks soon. Tomorrow, I think we have Wolfie coming up, maybe. I don't remember. Is it? I think also, yes, it is Wolfie Lore who'll be back with us with Spirit Fair tomorrow. And so otherwise, I will see you lovely people back either on my channel or here with me next Tuesday, but also here on GOG over the course of the week. Thank you all. Storm King's Thunder is now officially complete. Much love. Have a good night.